All right. Thanks, guys, for staying with us with the Goodell Multiverse podcast. We are on to our main event of the episode where we are doing our retrospective review of Thor, the Dark World.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm going to get this started off, guys, like we normally do, give you a little bit of a history behind the film, talk to you about a couple things about it, some of the things of the behind the scenes that we were able to dig up on it. And then we're going to just jump right on in to Act 1 and go from there. And yeah, thank you for staying with us, by the way, guys. If you are just watching us or listening to us for the first time, please like and subscribe, follow our social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, and your support, just doing those things really shows a lot to us and makes this show even more worth it. We love doing this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a great march to Doomsday, and
Yeah, having a ball.
yeah, this is so exciting. And this is a great film for us to review. It's definitely within the MCU community a hot topic film to review on. Is this good? Is this not good? And you're going to hear our 2 cents finally on Thor: The Dark World. And so thank you so much. Comment below, by the way, if you're watching us on YouTube, to let us know if you think that this movie is your cup of tea or is it not. What improvements would you do? Everything. We do read your comments and we enjoy it, actually. So please do. All right, let's get this show on the road, guys. The history behind the film of Thor: The Dark World. Thor: The Dark World was released on November 8th, 2013. The main cast include Chris Hemsworth, Natalie Portman, Tom Hiddleston, Christopher Eccleston, Idris Elba, Anthony Hopkins, Kat Dennings, Renee Russo, Jamie Alexander, and a little cameo of Zachary Levi. Big cast, guys. Big names, I should say.
Yes.
All right. Marvel Studios' road to filming Thor: The Dark World was far more turbulent than most MCU productions, arriving at a critical transition point for the franchise. Following the massive success of The Avengers in 2012, Marvel was officially entering Phase 2, and the studio was under pressure to prove its solo heroes could thrive after being elevated by crossover events. The original Thor had been a moderate success, but Marvel wanted the sequel to feel bigger, darker, and more epic in scope. Initially, acclaimed director Patty Jenkins, who would later direct Wonder Woman, was hired to helm the film, marking what would have been Marvel's first female-directed movie. Jenkins reportedly developed a more emotionally grounded, character-focused version centered heavily on Jane Foster and the relationship dynamics between Jane and Thor. However, creative differences quickly emerged between Jenkins and Marvel over the tone and story direction. Jenkins departed the project in late 2011 officially over creative differences, though reports later suggest she felt Marvel was setting her up to make a movie she didn't believe in. This departure sparked controversy because Natalie Portman had reportedly championed Jenkins for the job, and there was widespread industry rumors that Portman was frustrated by Marvel's decision. While Portman later denied wanting to quit outright, it was heavily speculated that the situation damaged her enthusiasm for the franchise for years, helping explain away Jane Foster's absence from later MCU installments, until Thor: Love and Thunder. Marvel quickly brought in Alan Taylor, known for directing major episodes of Game of Thrones, to replace Jenkins and steer the film toward a grittier fantasy style. Filming began in September 2012, just months after the Avengers shattered box office records. With production spanning England, Iceland, and studio work at Shepperton Studios. The MCU at this point had enormous momentum, but it was still proving whether it could maintain quality and consistency across increasingly interconnected films. Chris Hemsworth was ascending rapidly as a global action star after both Thor and the Avengers, though he was still working to establish himself outside of Marvel. Tom Hiddleston, meanwhile, had exploded in popularity thanks to Loki's breakout performance in The Avengers, to the point that Marvel significantly expanded his role in the Dark World. Natalie Portman was coming off of her Oscar-winning performance in Black Swan and had become one of the most prestigious actors attached to the MCU, though reports suggest she was less invested after Jenkins' departure. Anthony Hopkins, Idris Elba, and Christopher Eccleston brought heavyweight dramatic credibility, though Eccleston would later openly criticize his experience under the heavy Malekith prosthetics. Some fun facts from production included Marvel's use of real Icelandic volcanic landscapes to create Sivivheim. I can't pronounce that, guys.
I can't pronounce anything in Thor's world.
Sivartelifheim.
Yeah, that place.
Extensive practical Asgardian sets and one of the MCU's earliest attempts at bleeding Shakespearean fantasy with darker blockbuster spectacle. Tom Hiddleston's popularity also reportedly influenced rewrites that gave Loki much more screen time than initially planned. Upon release in November 2013, Thor: The Dark World received mixed critical reception, earning 66% on Rotten Tomatoes from critics and roughly 75% from audiences, with praise for Hemsworth and Hiddleston's chemistry, but criticism aimed at its generic villain and uneven tone. Financially, however, it was a solid hit. It grossed approximately $644.8 million worldwide, against a production budget of $150 to $170 million. That is a success.
Mm-hmm.
This proves Thor's solo franchise remained commercially viable even amid behind-the-scenes turmoil, while often considered one of Marvel's weaker early entries. The film's development, drama, director controversy, and cast tensions make it one of Marvel's most fascinating productions in hindsight.
Mm-hmm.
So, I am going to do what I did at the last episode, guys. I failed to write down the official synopsis. I will get better at that because that's part of my script of writing this stuff down, but I always forget.
You guys better comment about this too. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Be like Sam.
Come on, Sam. No.
Oh. All right. Thor: The Dark World official synopsis. All right. My brother Ike, would you be interested in reading the
Absolutely
top part there?
Okay, guys, so here we are. Thor: The Dark World. The mighty Thor battles to save Earth and all 9 realms from a shadowy ancient race led by Malachi, right?
Malekith.
Malekith. Same thing, right? Malachi's children of corn, so it's not the same thing. Who seeks to plunge the universe back into darkness.
All right. Well, that sounds like a great story.
Yeah.
So, one of the things I'll point out in doing my research, and I didn't include it in the history behind the film, is it was very early on, Marvel wanted to use Hela as the main villain for this movie.
Oh.
But they got denied because they felt boys would not buy the Hela action figures.
Well, they're wrong about that.
Yes. And guys, that's something that you're going to hear a lot from us when it comes to this. Unfortunately, for superhero movies, that they, for some reason, relied so heavily on the extra marketing expenditures and the extra marketing revenue from like Hasbro and other games and other toy companies and things like that, to the point where it actually dictates what the direction they're going to do the movie in. We saw that in Iron Man 3, where they originally did want the female character there that was a bad guy to be one of the main villains, and they thought that wouldn't sell well because it's a female villain. And we found out about this, it's the same thing. And I think that Marvel later, of course, decided we're not just going to do that anymore because you're leaving great, rich characters to the side over a toy marketing campaign. Yeah, I'm glad they decided to change that. And it worked out in Hela's favor when we get to Thor 3, of course.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But I just thought that was interesting. I had to throw that out there.
Yeah, that isn't. I didn't know that. What a neat tidbit, because I still find it astonishing. Maybe it's, I don't know if it's, I'm an old-fashioned kind of fella, but I've watched a lot of movies, folks, and I'm still surprised that there's this narrative, even at this time, of them being afraid of showing a woman be in whatever you want her to be in the movie. You know, whether it's the damsel in distress or the one that kicks the butt. Because I've seen so many movies that it goes back to some of the most best horror movies I've watched are, it's not called a final girl for nothing, right? Like these women survive these awful characters, and it's often because they find the courage to fight back 99% of the time. And it's funny how it feels like, why, as progressive as Hollywood is, why do they still act this way sometimes? Because to me, I would never thought they wouldn't have done that because they thought it wouldn't sell a female toy.
Yeah.
What are we talking about, man? Like, you know how many He-Man toys that were female toys? Like, I don't know. It's interesting to me to still hear stuff like that. And it's just too bad that's where that social political line comes in, where it's kind of like, what are we talking about here? It's weird to me. So.
Yeah, no, I completely get it. And myself growing up in a time where Angelina Jolie's Tomb Raider was the big thing and things like that.
Yeah.
And of course the Hunger Games became a big thing and all that. It's just that does surprise me that you would get little hints of that. Like, where is that old world thinking coming from? And
yeah, especially
like,
and I get it. There was a time where it was like that, but
yeah. But
you're talking, I think, way longer ago than we perceive it. It's strange to think that just as long ago as this movie, it was still kind of a thing. When to me, it's like, I didn't grow up ever thinking that. We didn't grow up in a sexist household. It just didn't. To us, it wasn't. It didn't seem like that. I don't know. It's a strange. Without getting political, I don't want to get into it, guys, because we all know. I just want good stories told. I don't care, female, black, white, orange, green. It doesn't matter to me. Just a good story. Good story. Let's do it, man. I'm all for it.
A good story, good villain, good character. We want to see that.
Yeah.
That's what we, as comic fans, like. We like seeing what they go to the movies, stuff like that. So it doesn't matter to us the gender or race of a character. We just want it good.
Yeah, just good. That's all we ask. Yep.
All right. So I'll start off with breaking down Act 1, and then we're gonna go through. We have a little review form that we got, guys, that we use as a template. Which, by the way, before I get into that, it does stick out to me because I have it in bold lettering here. The money they made on this film. It was definitely much
thank you,
more
Avengers.
Than the first one.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank the Avengers.
No offense, not saying bad about the film, just saying thank Avengers, because that's why people went. They're like, "Ooh, what's next now?"
Well, it's a testament to Iron Man 3 that came out right before this, made over $1 billion.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
So it just phenomenal. It's just awesome. And it was great at this time, especially to really prove the MCU had momentum. No matter what character they were doing next, it was momentum. And we're going to definitely get into even more momentum as we go along. We know that. All right. So Act 1, guys, the convergence approaches. After the events of the Avengers, Thor is trying to restore order across the 9 realms, while also struggling with his feelings for Jane Foster, whom he had been separated from Earth. On Earth, Jane accidentally becomes infected with the mysterious ether, an ancient and destructive force. This awakens the dark elf leader, Malekith, who intends to use the convergence, a rare alignment of the realms, to plunge the universe into darkness. Thor brings Jane to Asgard for protection, unknowingly bringing the ether directly to Malekith's attention. All right. So, Ike, what worked for you in this first act?
So what worked for me in this first act is I enjoyed the Earth characters more in this beginning part than I did in the first Thor movie. And I liked, there's actually a point to Jane this time. What worked for me is definitely that whole anomaly that they were looking at with the truck was like, moving around, how they're dropping the stuff and it was coming down above them. All that stuff really worked for me a lot. And you know what else really worked? I like him bringing her to Asgard. Yes. I kind of almost wish there was more of that in this movie. I kind of wish there was like a 20-minute segment of her just like
exploring,
learning what Asgard's about. Like if that's something I would go back and say there was a missed opportunity. We'll talk about it later. To me, that was a bit of a missed opportunity. And I think it would have fixed the problem that I have with this movie. So when we get to the end, we'll get more into that. But yeah, what worked for me is definitely, I like seeing chill Thor too. I like Thor in his like chilling out gear, where he's just got that big old cape, like apron thing on. I don't know. There's something about it that's just like, I kind of could spend like I could do a 10-episode TV show of Thor, and some of it is just them hanging out. Like for some reason, I don't know what it is about the way this feels lived in still, that sticks out to me the most. Those two things, very believable beginning, this idea of how she gets the ether in her and all that stuff. I like all that. That all worked real well for me. Bringing her back into it worked well, because it could have been really weird and, they could have just like forced it to happen, but I don't feel like it was forced. I feel like she would be searching for Thor this whole time. I feel like she would continue to look for that kind of anomaly and all that stuff. And then for that to happen like that, I thought was real good.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. I think that does complement it well from the first movie to this one, of the similar readings, and then she's still interested, and she's just longing for Thor, and she hasn't seen him in so long type
2
thing.
years or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Which is funny because she slaps him later, and it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, where you been? Like,
Mhm.
yeah. Like,
Yeah,
oh, you're
that's
real? Now where you been? Yeah.
yeah,
I like that.
it's perfect.
Yeah.
Well within character too.
This time I feel the chemistry, unlike last time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, you did. You see for me at least, I saw the sparks in the first movie, but I agree with you. The chemistry between her and Chris Hemsworth in this was definitely turned up a notch.
Yep.
And that's very important that you need for your female leads and your male leads, your love interest leads,
Yes.
Yeah. So good pairing. I'm glad it worked out. They're just two great actors too.
Yeah.
Like just so good at it.
What worked for you, Sam?
All right. So I agreed with you on the first movie on this, and I definitely wanted to touch and highlight this on this movie.
Oh, no.
When Odin gives the opening monologue, it is so good.
Yeah.
I want to hear him tell me bedtime stories.
I could listen to him read Moby Dick to me all night.
It's so good.
Yeah. Anthony
loved
Hopkins,
it.
man.
Yeah. He needs to get his voice on an audiobook. That's just so good. Anyways, as Odin. But I love his explanation of the past and talking about the war that his grandfather had fought and what that was. I personally love the Dark Elves. I like them in the comics. There's a video game out there called Marvel Ultimate Alliance, guys, and the Dark Elves are featured in it as somewhat of Marvel Ultimate Alliance literally means that everybody of everything is in this video game. But I loved the parts of that video game where you're with your characters and you're fighting the Dark Elves as you're getting to finding Odin in the game and all that stuff. And I really liked that nugget, and that reminded me when I was watching this movie of, we get them in this movie. I like the Dark Elves personally for the characters that they are. So I liked that they were telling the story of the Dark Elves and how they came to be. I liked how they were viewed. And it's gonna lead me into a little bit of the things I have a problem with the Dark Elves in this movie. But what worked for me part is that whole beginning montage of explanation of history, what happened. I love the setup, the idea of a convergence, which I think is very creative storytelling of all these realms. At one point, like every 5,000 years or something, they actually blur the lines, and I love how Thor explains it to Jane later on. I think we do get that in this part after he brings her to um Asgard. I agree with you. I like the whole scene of the kids and her finding out the um yeah, I really like that. The other things I do like is how she transports up to um Asgard with him with the Bifrost and
She's like, we
everything.
got to do that again.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love that because
Yeah.
the typical person might be like, "Oh, I feel sick," but she's just like, "Oh, this is riveting. Let's do this again."
She's fascinated by
Yeah.
it too. It's
Yes.
scientifically on top of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
You imagine being someone of science and then going somewhere like that. Like,
Yeah.
what the law? And the first thing you see is Idris Elba too, with his big old brown eyes.
And
his
see all this
helmet.
gold around
Yeah.
you,
It's
and
like, oh my God.
rainbow Bifrost Bridge, like, that's
Yeah,
so
sick.
cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
Where's the Lego set for that? I want to do
Right?
bridge. Yeah.
I tell you, that's one of the things that I love about the first film, and I love it even more in this film, is I just want to explore Asgard.
Well,
It looks so
we never
cool.
spend enough time there.
We don't. We don't.
Yeah.
And they build such an amazing, beautiful city.
Mhm.
And I just want to I would watch a TV show, a 10-episode thing of just walking around and be like, what's the store look like? What'd they eat? What'd they do?
I just had an epiphany.
What?
In the vein of Batman Arkham City and Spider-Man video games, a Thor video game where you just open world Asgard and you can Bifrost wherever you want in the 9 realms for like missions and stuff. Somebody get on that freaking game, man.
That'd be so...
Wouldn't that be sick?
Yeah.
That would be sick. The stuff you could do.
Yeah.
And if you like Bifrost far away and you forget the hammer, you can like call it. And in the game, it takes time to get to you. That would be so good. Somebody needs to call somebody. Like somebody call somebody. Because like,
Insomniac Games, please do this.
I would buy that in a heartbeat. That would be so fun to play an open world Asgard Thor game.
Yes.
Yeah, buddy. All right, sorry. Go ahead, Sam.
No, I completely agree.
I don't know why. Just in my head, I'm like, my God, why did I ever think of that?
Yeah.
Like, that'd be
sick. I do love how they did with the Batman Arkham games and the Spider-Man games. The open world concept is so cool. And Thor is a great character for a game like that because exploring Asgard, exploring all the realms and what's in there. It's so cool.
How awesome that would be. Yeah.
Yeah, I would just want to see it. Anyways. Yeah, I like that. I like Odin and Loki's dialogue in this first act. It reminds me a little bit of some of the parts that we liked about the first film remember in the first film when Loki's about to speak and Odin goes when the moment when
I'll never forget that. He just literally hisses at us like whoa.
And I love that was impromptu. That's even better.
It's like, oh my
God. When Loki says what his birthright was to rule, and Odin like kind of musters up and he says, "Your birthright was to die."
It was on a rock or something. Yeah.
On a rock in the cold, like it's just as a baby. It was just so perfect. I love that scene. I think that was really, really cool. And only Anthony Hopkins could be able to deliver a line like that. It is so good. I will say though, this is the first film where Odin later on, you see the jackassery about him a little bit.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
But we'll get that there.
Yeah,
we'll get there.
I got some things to say.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I like that, and I gotta tell you, as I alluded to earlier on this episode, guys, I know like everyone has their favorite flavor of Thor, their favorite taste of Thor, and different types of Thor, and his vibe, his attitude, all the stuff about it. This to me is the beginning of peak Thor for me as a character wise, not look wise. You get to peak Thor look wise in Love and Thunder because Chris Hemsworth just amped it right up for that movie. But for as what I picture Thor to be, he has a touch of funny in this movie. It's just not as exaggerated as it is in Ragnarok and Love and Thunder and stuff like that. But there is this natural charisma with him as Chris Hemsworth playing Thor. And you see that in this movie more so. And then I think, if I remember right, it bleeds into Age of Ultron a little bit, the same type of Thor. And this is one of my favorite versions of Thor. So I really have to say that this is, when it comes to, if I had to list the different types of Thors, this one is like my favorite, and then I get to Endgame Infinity War Thor, and then I'll get down to like the Ragnarok Love and Thunder Thor and stuff like that. So that's just me personally. But anyways, I just had to say that's one of the parts that worked for me. What also worked for me is Thor's entrance in the movie when they're all battling. And and how he enters and his dialogue banter with Lady Sith right there, so good. And then when was supposed to be Korg, honestly, that character, that rock creature, was supposed to be Korg until they decided to redo that a little bit in Ragnarok because Taika Waititi wanted to play him and all this different stuff.
Good choices, all of it.
Great, yes, it was, and that was a great choice too. Doing that, so this could just be another one of those rock creatures. Didn't have to be explicitly Korg, but him walking up to him, he's like, "Oh, you're a big one," and he's winding up. And as I love the once he blows him up, everyone's like, "Okay, we're done. That was our Goliath," and just like David, you just slayed him, and now we're just done.
What's his face is like, we should start with the big one.
Yeah, we should start with the That's so good. So yeah, all those parts really worked for me.
Yeah, I still miss seeing them as a group. I'd love to see that group of them.
I do.
Still to
I'm
this day.
telling you, that is one of those teams that should have been a Disney Plus
Oh,
show.
it would have been a great show.
They get this team together and just go
Ragtag group of guys
Yeah,
and
run
girls and
9 rounds.
kicking butt. Yeah,
Come
and some really
on.
fun missions. Like it'd be so cool.
That would have been
Mhm.
really cool. Anyways, so that's what worked for me. What didn't work for you?
So what didn't work for me? Okay. The introduction to the villain is just kind of blah. And unfortunately the villain stays very blah to me the entire movie. I think it's probably the weakest part of the movie. But definitely in this beginning, it just, I don't know, man. I just don't care about these guys. Some of it, plot hole wise, doesn't make a lot of sense about how they're connected to the ether. I got questions about that. But I can accept some of that stuff and let it go, whatever. I'm going to pick that as my biggest thing without going too much into other things because there's other things, but they become more prevalent later that I want to talk about in a different spot. So yeah, the villain really disappoints me in this beginning. When you guys do a villain for these Marvel movies, when they do them, I appreciate taking swings with them and making it be like, okay, show me why this guy's a bad guy, and other than looking mean and not caring whether his own people die in that one scene, it really just doesn't. I'm just not, this guy isn't scary. Like this guy's not scary yet. And what also didn't work for me is this henchman there that he turns into the monster. He's a predator. Like what's going on here?
Yeah,
Like I'm just like, okay, and like he's all of a sudden like the most powerful thing out there. It's like, why not make 100 of those? Like, what are you doing then? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's part of me is kind of like, what's happening here? Like, what is, I don't know. If he's so connected to the ether, why can't he find it in the first place? And why not just go get it? I don't know. I got certain questions about it, but it's strange, And so the villain, this definitely from this is not a good start. Let's put it that way. He has a great moment later, but it's not a good start for me with the villains. I'm going to have to say that because the look of them are cool. I like their ships and how they cloak. I think they look awesome. Which comes to a scene later. I love, which is I think in the next part when they actually attack Asgard.
Yeah.
And that's where the scene is I like the villains in, one of the villain things in it. But yeah, it's I'm gonna have to say what doesn't work for me is it's just you're not convincing me about these villains yet. Right off the bat, I kind of feel like, what's the big deal? And it makes me kind of hear Odin sound like a whiny, kind of grumpy old man because like we don't understand how bad these guys are, but he obviously is making it like it's a big deal. But like to me, it's like they're really not that big a deal yet. You know what I'm saying? Like
he's very Odin is very arrogant when it comes to this part. Where Thor would say
one-sided about it.
Yes.
Like
Thor would say, "Are you sure that they're dead?" And he's like, "They're dead." And he just leaves it at that. Without the possibility of, hey, this ether thing is now here, which that was, Thor literally says, this was rumored to not be real, and now it's real. Do you think that the guys that really want it are out there? And he's like, no. Like, he's very adamant and arrogant about it. Be like, look, you got proof right here that this actually could be out there.
Yeah, I agree.
So that will trickle in a little bit to what I didn't like about it is, like I said, I was anticipating the dark elves. I like the dark elves. I think they're kind of cool, and I kind of like how they were physically portrayed in the movie. I like the weapons that they had, the different things they could do with them, and just their overall presence was cool. It's the writing for them that is not so good. It doesn't stick to landing for me. I completely agree with you on my issue with Malekith. He is a blah villain.
At least the introduction so far.
Yeah. I mean, he
doesn't get much better, but like
it doesn't. But yeah, it does. It's like the Act 1, he's like, okay. Act 2, he kind of peaks. Act 3, it's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And so I feel like we're in the same vibe when it comes to that. For the villain, is that I can't say he's the worst villains Marvel had, but he's definitely not a top tier villain. And there are times where they play them up as this big dark entity, and then they don't, and then they're just brushed aside, and you're like, okay, like it's. I wish they were written better.
Yeah.
There are some inconsistencies with them, like them floating in space for thousands of years, and no one has found them. One, how are they surviving? Because they imply in the movie that they're floating until the ether arrives
Mhm.
or presents itself again, and then they wake up. He looks exactly the same as he did with Odin's grandfather, and now you're 1, 2, 3, 4 generations later, and you look exactly the
Yeah.
same. It feels like, okay, are they immortal? What's going on?
Yeah, it's a strange
But yet they're not immortal
strange.
because that's all that's left of them
Yeah.
from the big battle. So it's almost like, okay, I don't know. That it's there's just some inconsistencies about them there.
I
I
have a
do like
question for you.
yeah,
What's the name of the villain from the first movie? The bad guy in the first one?
the first Thor,
Yeah.
it was, Laufey, the
Yeah,
frost
and they're
giant.
frost giants.
Yeah.
You know what fixes this movie? That the bad guys would be the frost giants.
How so?
Just have them want the ether. You do the same movie and have them want the ether and them come back and make a big problem for them. Because you tease the issue. Let's continue. We'll we'll talk about how we do this movie different
So
at the end. I would why not see in the first Thor movie they tease that there's this war going to happen between them because of the actions of that's being made,
mm,
and then it doesn't happen, right?
well, it doesn't happen because Loki kills, Laufey,
Right, just kills Laufey,
kills the
but
leader,
right, but they're still there. So why not have another one that comes
takes
up
on.
and says
Yeah.
we're getting revenge, and how we're gonna do it is by using this thing that now we know is back in the
See, I feel like they would need to use a different artifact because the ether, which is the reality stone that we come to
Mhm.
find out, it makes sense why the dark elves want the
Oh, I no, I
you
complete
know,
yeah, I
but
know. I'm saying retcon that though, and
yeah,
just and let them be the ones that have that. You know what I mean? Like their
that
new goal.
that would be
Does
an
that make
interesting
sense?
take.
Why I say that is because they're just more interesting of a villain.
Mhm. Yeah, well, that just comes down again to the poor writing of
Yeah,
the villains. They were more interesting. I agree
yeah.
with you on that. But I think these guys could have been really interesting
Oh yeah,
too.
they just dropped the ball.
It's just yeah, like they have moments that almost reminds me a little bit of like Star Trek moments and how they look and what they're doing and talking and all that stuff. But it's just not they're they're just not that well written. That's my biggest problem with the whole movie, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why a lot of people would list this Thor movie as one of the lower level
Yeah, I
movies is
don't believe
because
them. Like I just don't believe them.
exactly.
Yep. Yeah, I'm
Like,
with you.
I get their point.
Yeah.
I get what they're trying to do, and that all makes sense to me, but the execution of it is what
Mhm.
isn't making sense, and I don't know how to I would not know how to rewrite this movie to make them better yet. I'm sure we could come up with it, and I didn't have my pitch ready for this movie and what I would have done differently, but the only thing I would say is they definitely need to be rewritten.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Yeah,
Yeah.
and me just thinking of Frost Giants was if we're gonna play it kind of safe-ish
Mm,
and still have it fun, let's have another epic spout with
yeah,
them. You know, I mean,
yeah.
then you can almost play off of some of the issues I have with this movie
Mhm.
uh, in general because of some of the stuff from the first movie kind of bleeds into this one as well.
Well, I think that's one of the things I agree that that I think we definitely don't wanna see the end of Thor because we do have 9 realms, and I wanna see what the other villains are like out there in the other realms, and we're
I'm with
that
you.
well,
Yeah,
see, that's another point about this movie and this villain in particular. They don't say and I'm trying please correct me if I'm wrong, and internet correct me if I'm wrong if Ike doesn't know it, but they introduce the elves as being there from the beginning of the 9 realms, being from the darkness.
yeah,
They're not from a realm.
right.
There exists outside of the realms, I guess? I don't get that. And if that's true, that's where they hid the ether outside of the realms. That's why the only time you can find it is when the convergence is happening, all the lines are blurred and all the crazy gravity crap is happening. So
Yeah,
part of
it's
me is
real
like,
convoluted quick,
it's
right?
just, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I
I'm
would
with you.
love to sit down with the writer of this and say, please explain some of these parts to me.
Yeah,
And that is a problem, guys. You shouldn't have to sit down with the writer to explain the movie. The movie should have done it. So, anyways,
yeah, I got you.
Anyway, so that's just my part on that. And I do agree with you. The what didn't work for me is it doesn't explain their I get their desire to want the ether because they want to rewrite reality to make it dark, eternal darkness. I get that part.
Mhm.
I don't get their connection to the ether. Why is it that when the ether is discovered and inside Jane Foster, all of a sudden they wake up?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why haven't they been looking at for all these thousands of years?
Yeah.
And also, why haven't they been discovered from other things all these thousands of years? They're in a floating ship. You don't
Mhm.
think pillagers like Star-Lord and all that aren't out there trying to scavenge something and then all of a sudden, oh, we woke the Dark Elves up.
Mhm.
I actually would have liked this movie more if that's how they woke up. Is maybe they were put into this state of which will explain their aging, why they didn't age,
Yeah, true.
put into this coma-like state in there, and
Mhm.
then someone comes along and awakens them, just like the rat made, Ant-Man come out of the quantum realm
Mhm.
in Endgame, something crazy, space octopus made them wake up. I would actually prefer that as more of an introduction of why we haven't seen them this long, and then they're pursuing this ether, and just so happens this ether gets right inside Jane.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah. Do you think when Doctor Strange was looking through all the possibilities of winning, that when he went through that one and he saw the rat goes across the thing, he didn't go, "Really?"
yes,
Like in his own mind,
yeah,
like, "Really?
he's
Like,
like,
really this all is going to depend on that rat?"
yeah, yeah. He's like, well, I'm not counting this universe.
Yeah, oh my god, we are screwed. Alright, anyways, yeah, I'm with
Anyways,
you.
yeah, I agree. But anyways, that's my only biggest issue with this. I know I talked a lot about it already.
That's okay.
Went on maybe a little too
Well, it's
long.
confusing because
But
it's hard to understand what they're trying to tell us.
he's a generic villain that is
Too generic.
not just too generic, but brings up too many. You see, even if he's a generic, standard, run of your mill, mustache twirling villain, those ones you don't question too much of the origin around them or their
Mhm.
purpose around them and things like that. This one is a generic villain that has all these question marks around it, and they never get fleshed out.
Yeah, it's true. Yep,
So that's
yep.
that's my only problem with it. I think he could have been a really good menacing villain. The Dark Elves. I mean, one of the things that does disappoint me about this movie, and I'll get that as part of my character breakdown, missed opportunities type thing, is the Dark Elves actually have magic elves.
Oh,
They're
wow.
not in
Yeah.
here, and I think that would have been cool,
Yeah.
especially for Jane being a scientist and seeing magic for the first time, like actual legit magic being
Mhm.
conducted. That would have been cool. Anyways,
Could've
we'll
made for
get
a
that
great
when we get there.
finale too, yeah.
Yeah, right, much better than what we got. Anyways, um, so that's what didn't work for me. Um,
Standout moment.
Standout moment. What's your standout moment?
Mine's a simple one. I like a lot of this stuff in the beginning anyway, other
Mhm.
than the villain stuff.
Yeah.
But my favorite standout moment in the beginning is the scene between Loki and his mom.
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
I like that this definitely gives Renee Russo the shine that she needs as this character. But also is there's a lot of heart there to a guy who we just got done seeing as one of the meanest people in ever, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
in the Avengers. So, and I also like that he gets his trickery from her, really. Like
Mm.
she's kind of like the like mystic like he is in
Yeah.
that sense, and he kind of gets that from her. And I like when she reaches her hands out and he goes to touch her and she like, she's not
Mhm.
there, because it's kind of like, oh, that's, he does
Yeah.
that to people all
He
the
is the
time.
same
Yeah.
abilities too. We're just saying.
And it's like I kind of enjoy I just enjoyed that scene. I thought that was very, that's where this movie shines, is there's a lot more heart moments in this movie, and that's one of them for the first act.
Yeah.
So that's mine.
All right. So mine is I love it when that dark elf monster guy looks at Loki and decides, yeah, I'm not releasing this guy.
Oh, I like that too.
It's because
I just thought that would be more part of act 2 because it's during the invasion.
oh, is that did I let me see. I may have messed up on that, guys, because that probably
You might
is.
want that to be on the next one, but yes.
Yeah, it kind of is. You're right. So let me see if I continued. Oh no, I wrote too much on that. For so I guess I would say then for my standout moment for Act One, then in particular, is um when they're examining Jane,
Oh, yeah.
that thing lashes out, and it's when I love it's when the science and the mystic stuff kinda do meet
Yeah, that is fun
together,
to
where
see.
she's like, "Is that this?" And the doctor voodoo lady, whatever she is like, "It does this," and she says, "Does it do this?" She said, "Yeah," and she's like, "It's that." I don't know the specific terminology, but you know what I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
That was really cool, and then seeing the dynamic of bringing a human to Asgard
Yeah.
and who's accepting, who's not. It's really Thor bringing home his girlfriend and finding out that dad's not as accepting as mom is type.
Yeah, I got issues with that later, but
Oh
yeah,
boy.
it bugs me.
But I
That
just
bugs me. I wouldn't. You're such a jerk, man. Like, come
it does.
on.
It does, yeah.
He's just that
He
old curmudgeon
is.
in this, man. Like,
He is.
it's like, dude, what are you doing? What are you, oh, she's like a dog to us. Like, what did you turn into an asshole? Like,
I love it.
chill out, bro. You brought home a frost giant as a kid. Like, you want to talk about, like, what are you talking about here? Like,
That's so true.
my
Like, you're one
God.
to talk. Who do you think you are? It's
Yeah.
Jane Foster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, what would you give your score for Act 1?
Act 1, I give it a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
I gave it an 8 out of 10,
That's
guys.
good. Yeah, I see
Yeah,
it. I see that.
because if it wasn't for the villain part, honestly, I think it was a pretty solid of an act.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I feel you.
Okay. Why don't you read Act 2?
All right, Act 2, guys. Malekith attacks Asgard in an attempt to extract the ether from Jane, resulting in chaos and the death of Thor's mama, Frigga. Thor, fueled by grief and vengeance, forms an uneasy alliance with his imprisoned brother Loki. Loki's unpredictable nature drives much of the mission as they escape Asgard and attempt to lure Malekith away from the Nine Realms. Meanwhile, Jane's condition worsens as the ether continues to bond with her. The film shifts between realms as Thor and Loki try to manipulate Malekith into exposing himself during the convergence.
Okay.
Yes.
So, let's see. Well, I'll just start off with saying what worked for me, for my part then.
Yes, please. Because you had some from before.
Yeah.
So bring it on over.
It did. Yeah.
Because some of that is I agree with a lot of it. So.
Yeah, I'll say what the standout moment, so to speak, is in this one, as well as what the coincides with what worked for me. So, I loved it when that dark elf guy, and he's freeing all the prisoners and all that stuff, which it just goes to show you how strong are these shields actually, because at one instance he's doing those things and breaking them, and then another instance it's the same shields going up and the ship crashes into it and the shields are still going up. So part of me is like, what is this voodoo stuff that he puts in him that makes it go rawr,
Yeah, why not make 100 of them, right? Like,
yeah, why one?
Just one guy.
That
Make your army of these dudes and you win.
Like, turn all of your elves into this.
Yeah.
You're done. Like, that's not hard, guys. Anyways.
Hybrid predator thing.
Whatever it may be. But yeah, I did like that he's releasing all the prisoners. He gets to Loki. He's looking at him and he's just like, nah, I'm gonna pass.
Yeah.
Almost like I'm bad, but you are just that bad. You're just worse.
Yeah. It's like, we don't want you free because you might mess our plan up.
You're gonna mess, exactly. You're gonna mess our plan up. Yeah. Also, I will say that scene of Thor flying away with his hammer when that is all happening, and they all think Loki is the reason why this is all happening, and that if I could put this in the editing, guys, you're gonna see it because that cinematic spot of Chris just backflipping off of the railing and then lifts his hand up and Mjolnir just takes him away. One of the best cinematic moments I think Marvel has ever done for a character flying away.
Yeah, I agree. Yep.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. I agree with you.
So,
yeah, that's one of my favorite standout moments of that too.
Exactly. When I saw that, I thought, holy smokes, man, they got the choreography, that stuff right.
That looks so good. Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. I actually do like Malekith a little bit in this act. A couple of the parts I would say that for him in particular that stick out to me is his presence when he walks out of the ship and it lands. He just looks like a badass when he's walking out there. I mean, despite the things I'm not really impressed with him and the other his origin. But that right there, when he's walking out and he's just looking around, he's just like, I got one thing. And then he sees the throne and he's like, yeah, I hate this. And he just throws it just out of spite to make it all crumble. That is so cool. Like,
yeah, I just wish he did more badass things.
yeah.
Because he looks great. Like, I mean, yeah, this guy looks scary, but he just doesn't do anything that makes me feel afraid of him is all,
Yeah, exactly.
Except for them doing the wonky science that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
By the way, Odin's like quick little he does to kill that guy, like the power he has with his staff. Why is he not just doing this to everybody? Like, what is Odin?
Like,
he's like, whoa, what is that? Like,
he does it to one guy.
One guy that's just already wounded.
Yeah. He could have shown up like 2 minutes earlier and saved all his people.
Just he'd have been done with this whole thing right now. Yeah, okay, Odin.
Come on.
Yeah, curmudgeon. All father my ass.
Anyways, yeah. Then I gotta say, well, I'm gonna save that one part actually for let me make sure. Yeah, I'm gonna switch it now that I had my notes a little bit backwards, guys, on this. So when I get to my favorite character moment in this act, I'll reveal that to you there. But what also worked for me, I would say, actually, that is all that worked for me. I listed most of the stuff for that. I think the only other thing I would say that I didn't list on here that I did like is Thor and Loki. Their whole dynamic of them escaping, that is in this one, right? Where they're escaping?
Yes. Yep.
Yes. That is some of my favorite scenes of the both of them together is in this movie.
Yeah.
Is just their banter from Thor. I love the whole behind the scenes of them explaining what their plan's gonna be.
Yes.
And you're seeing it at the same time as what if this happens? Well, that's when this character comes into play. What if this happens? All that stuff. That is so cool.
That's actually what I was gonna say is that was gonna be part of what I talked about.
That is that is so cool.
It's smart.
And and then to see Loki going along with it and he stays in character, but yet still is doing what they want him to do. I tell you, it makes me like Loki, and he isn't my favorite villain, but he is so darn good.
Yeah, he's up there though.
He is up there though.
Yeah, it's hard.
You can't deny.
And as we do this retrospectives, it's like, how is he not?
I know. That's what I'm gonna like about this retrospective is some of them
might change.
Yeah, of the movies and the characters are gonna start going like, he's just so good in this movie. He's so good.
Like I'm just gonna echo a few things that worked for me because all what you said, I'm with you. I like the fight between him and Frigga, the bad guy and Frigga.
Yes,
excellent. She kicks some ass.
Yeah,
she'd have beat him. You know what I'm saying? Like
easily.
And like that's also a problem I have. Why is this guy such a big deal?
Exactly.
It's like okay, so, but let's go to the stuff I like still. One of my absolute favorite, most badass moments, though, I love in this whole thing. And first of all, let me cover a couple things. The aerial stuff in this is awesome.
Yes,
it's awesome. I like that Loki's a step behind this time for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, oh, these are your planes. And Thor just kind of pushes him out the thing. And you're kind of like, wait a minute, what's going on? And then they land in the ship that's down lower. And Loki's like, okay, now I got you. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. And I'm like, I like that. Banter's that's great between them. And it kind of shows Thor's smart. You're smarter than just being a Thor. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But when freaking, what's his name? I don't have his name written down right now. Idris Elba.
Heimdall.
Heimdall, thank you. It's on the tip of my tongue, guys. When Heimdall realizes that ship is invisible and he jumps down and then he runs up the thing and then jumps onto the ship, that is so badass, dude. And then he falls and hits the thing and lands on the... What a badass. See what I mean? I'm like, that scene where I'm just like... Because he's just like, oh, wait a minute. They got past me. And he just goes for it, man. And like, that is some of the best stuff. And that's some of the part that worked for me the most is his part in this movie more so. Like when they're sitting there later, him and Thor are talking, because it kind of feels weird where I can't go watch and be at my post because... I can't see what's coming. Like these things are invisible to us. I like that we got more of a character out of him than just that weird dude that's out there watching everybody all the time. Yeah. And like so when in Ragnarok that pays off, right? Because of that reason, right? And I love that he just plays his part. And I like that his part in them escaping or them tricking Odin so they can
Yep.
leave is he's like, yeah, I'm here to report treason. He goes, it's me. And it's like,
Yep.
oh man, look at badass. But I like Heimdall in this,
Yeah.
man. Like I loved him in this sequence in this whole thing. Other than that, you echoed the rest of it pretty much dead on. You know, I enjoy a lot of that stuff. And those bombs are wild, right?
Mhm.
Like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to figure out. I want them to tell us the mechanics of those bombs because they toss them and then you're like, and you're gone. Does it suck you somewhere? Like, does it just turn you into atoms? Like, what does it do? Because it looks awful.
The best I can describe them as, it's like but you don't really see it. It's like it creates a little black hole.
Yeah.
Wherever it sticks on, it just breaks down and disintegrates.
It's like the opposite of an explosion.
Exactly.
It's like an implosion.
It's an implosion. The implosion bombs.
Yeah, they're awesome.
They're really cool.
Yeah, I think they're cool as hell. Like, they look awesome. They sound awesome. They're just, you know, they're just really cool. I enjoy them a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that they're part of the finale.
Mhm.
You know, and they had their own little part in it. Kind of wish we saw them again. Like, we need them. We need them. Where was it with Thanos?
Yeah.
Hey, catch. So, okay, we're done.
Like, right?
It's like easy.
What gauntlet?
Yeah. He'd be like, ah! It'd be awesome. Like, he'd just stand there with his nub, Thanos nub, you know, like big old nub just flopping around.
Yes, exactly.
I'm in. Anyways.
In another multiverse.
Yeah, you never know, right?
All right, so what didn't work for you?
So what didn't work is the same thing that didn't work for you.
Okay. All right.
It's
Yeah.
What's the danger here for Jane? If they can just do this? And why and if they could do it, you're telling me Odin and them can't figure this out? Like, I am really confused about how they want us to feel about this ether and how it works.
Well, also it highlights, not to jump in there and cut in what you were saying, it highlights another problem with the villain. If he's that powerful, he could draw an infinity stone out of somebody. Where is that power when you're fighting Frigga? Where is that power when you're doing some of the stuff you're doing?
Yeah.
Like, anyways, but
it's very confusing in that. And I don't like that this was another, like, Odin wasn't going to go along with his plan. Like, it's because you know how much it would have worked if he'd just been like, hey, this is a great idea.
Yeah.
Like, this is that curmudgeon part of him that makes you go, really, guy? You're going to be like this again? You know, it's like, what's the deal here? Like, what's your deal? We'll die to the last drop of blood. It's like, well, maybe it doesn't need to be that way.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? Did you pass it along and see what everybody else thought about that? Because we have a great idea. Let's do this, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know. It just felt like a weird way to pace this movie forward. And yeah, I'm not a fan of how that turned out. So why don't you go in on that? I'm curious to hear what you got to say about that too, because we both have that.
So it's hard for me to explain how I think there's a problem with this here, because they start off in the movie a little bit with they ask, how do we get this out of her? And Odin says, I don't know. And then Thor comes up with a plan of, if Malekith can bring this out of her, why don't we do this? But they don't even present it to Odin because they know exactly what Odin's going to be like and how he's going to be so stubborn and arrogant to be like, no. And then they're all going to be cast in like treason or whatever they're going to do. It's just, it's like, they really write Odin off as a jackass in this movie.
Big time.
And I guess you can say when you get to Ragnarok, you see that he had this, before he became a benevolent king, he had a darker side to him. But he's not that anymore. That's the whole point of Odin's arc, is that he's done conquering the realms, and now he's just the Allfather and just wants... That's the whole point of Odin in the first movie. I'm peace. I want peace. Everything needs to be peace. Don't start a war. I will deal with it. They're just children. He's the one who's acting like a child in this one.
He's not seeing the writing on the wall. Like, it's like, what's going on, dude?
Like, in the beginning of this movie, he's all ready to hand the throne over to Thor, but yet he would not listen to Thor when it comes to, this is my plan. wouldn't you want to know how your son's gonna do when it comes to actual war and actual villains?
Not to mention he's prejudiced to humans.
Yeah.
Like, what a mean ass, dude.
Yes.
Like, come on, guy.
What a racist. Just saying. Just
Odin might get canceled tonight.
Those all father old white men.
Oh, God. Man.
But yeah, no, he's just all right. So if Malekith can rip the ether from Jane without killing her, why couldn't Odin do that?
Yeah, what the
Better
hell?
yet, not having Odin involved in any of the mission where the powers of Asgard could be very useful in a situation like that. Like, I I won't nitpick too much on it because I did like how the story played out.
Mhm.
I do really like Thor conniving to do this stuff and how to do it behind Odin's back, and the dynamics worked. It's just that I feel like in doing so, doing it this way, they had to make someone in that scene a bad guy, and they made it be Odin. When it, w- I know it took away a lot of some of the cool moments. So I'll say, okay, that's fine. It just is gonna be a nitpick then.
Mhm.
If you want something good, sometimes a little bad has to come with it, and that's what didn't work for me is that stuff. Um, Also, Heimdall can't see the ships coming in, and this technology has been around for so long. It was Odin's grandfather.
Yeah.
They didn't improve technology enough since then where they could detect a ship like this. Because whether is okay, so Odin comes into this saying they're all kind of like fairy tales type thing. This is just stories my grandfather told. They're not around anymore. But wouldn't you think that if those technologies were still available or accessible or they saw it happen, they would try to counteract that when something like this happens?
The only thing I'll say to that, because it is part of one of my favorite things that happens in the movie when Heimdall jumps on the ship,
Mm-hmm.
is if Odin truly believes they're not out there, I can see that idea of needing that being lost.
Yeah.
And it shows the ignorance of him.
Yes.
And I think that'd be the only reason why it's like that. Because I agree with you. Wouldn't you be ready for such a thing, right?
Yeah.
But if you really think that, oh, that's never coming back anyway, then yeah, to your own detriment
Yeah.
have you caused this to happen.
Yeah.
Which is what pisses me more off about Odin, that out of all these guys, he should be like, oh man, we were wrong. But no, he doesn't do that at all. It's all, oh, well, we were wrong, so now we're all going to die together, last drop of blood.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, guy, come on. It's like, yeah, I'm half the way there with you. It's like, yeah, really? But then at the same time, it's like if they'd never thought this would happen again, or it would happen,
Yeah.
then it's on Odin. He's the one that messed this up, right? To not pass this along and make this happen this way.
Yeah.
Which I kind of get that feel
Yeah. I agree.
that he won't admit to it. Maybe he's not worthy.
Oh boy, guys, that's a reference to the first.
How can he make something that
episode.
you got to be worthy for when he's not worthy?
Yeah. That's the thing that they did in this movie, and there's another character that they do this to, Doctor Strange. When we get there, we'll get there when we get there. All the progress he made in his first movie, when you get to the second movie, it's out the window. That's
Yeah.
what I didn't like. One of the reasons I didn't like about his own solo movie, the second one. Anyways,
Yeah,
we'll
I'm
get
with
to
you.
that movie.
I'm with you.
Definitely.
I'm with you.
But whatever. The only other thing I'll say about this act that I didn't like is the Eric going crazy scene. And this is what I'll say about it in particular. I don't mind he went crazy. I actually think the logic of it, when he does explain it later, I had a God in my head. You try to figure that out. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
That is very true. What I don't like of the inconsistency is they should not have shown that scene in the first act of the television scene. And then in the second act, show Darcy finding out through the television scene. They should just save that all for the second act. That's the part where
I'm with you.
in my brain, when they're driving with Jane and they're talking about where Eric is and all that stuff, Darcy kind of knew that he went crazy. And then in the second act, when the intern says, "Is that your doctor guy?" and she says, "Oh yeah," I'm thinking, there's an inconsistency there. It's like they filmed it, but then when they put it in the movie, they didn't cut it right.
Yeah, it's like they're piecing it together as they went with it.
Yeah, I would have.
And some of that, I think, is just because they didn't know what to do with these characters.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah, I just feel like in the very beginning they shouldn't have shown him in Act 1 going crazy with the television thing. Save that for Act 2 because that would have made more sense to me.
Mm.
That little inconsistency there, I would say.
So something we haven't mentioned that does work real well in this whole thing is
Yeah.
when it does work well is when Loki like fakes the whole betraying Thor.
Oh,
That whole thing.
That whole
that's
thing.
all great.
and
And then Loki dying.
Yeah.
Right. I think that all works real well because that's here. That's
Yeah.
in this, right? Because
that is
yeah,
that whole scene of what they plan to do, like his plan continuing on with
Mhm.
Loki after getting him out. Amazingly well done. Really well done.
Mhm.
From the choreography part of it to how they're actually fighting to just the story writing of it, the
Yeah.
execution, really good. I loved when he threw the lightning from his hammer up at the ether and it turned into the Infinity Stone just in pieces.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it just all rises up and continues doing what it was doing.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
It's pretty badass. Yeah.
Almost like he thought he could destroy the ether when
Mhm.
it's in its raw form, and then you realize it's an Infinity Stone. It's one of the reasons why the whole reality is here, and
Right.
literally the Reality Stone. Like you can't destroy it.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah. Anyways, I thought
And
that
I
is really
I like this whole fight with the Predator.
Yeah.
You know, and like how it all goes down.
Predator, yeah.
You look at him. I mean, he's a predator.
Yeah.
But I do like that. I just think there would be 100 of them if the elf was smart. But like,
Yes.
but that's because he's beating the crap out of Thor. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
I mean, and how powerful is this thing? Like, that's the inconsistency of his power is a problem because he knocks the hammer away. The Hulk can't even knock the hammer away.
Yeah.
What are we talking about here,
Yes.
right? Like, what is you telling me this Predator dude is the Hulk, basically, or more?
Yeah.
Like, the only other one that knocks anything away from Thor was Thanos.
Yeah.
Really, that we ever saw.
Yeah.
I don't know. That bugged me a little. But the whole scene is great, though. It's a lot of great fight, and the way Loki died saving him. Well, yeah, and then he grabs him and does the thing. It's cool.
That was really cool.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's even funnier to think that not funnier, but more interesting to think that was their original intent of that scene was Loki actually to be dead.
Yeah.
And then it was later on they decided to add him as this not post-credits scene, but like a end scene, kind of like they did in the first Thor movie where it's just the end of it alluded to he's actually still alive. But they were intending for this to be his
Well,
last
they must have added more scenes in because there's that scene when the soldier comes to him and tells him that he can't find Thor. And he goes, and so like before that happens, you see that green shimmer.
Yeah.
So it's like they definitely changed their mind very quick.
Oh, they did, yeah. Especially in I think that was in the
it was probably reshoots.
the post production or something when they're doing the visual effects. Or we're gonna throw that in there because we're like we really don't want him to go.
Yeah,
And it makes sense. I wouldn't want him to go.
No,
he's so good.
No, I'm okay with all his fake deaths.
Yeah,
because like it's the character.
I'm okay with him himself in this whole movie. He's the most consistent next to Thor in this whole movie.
I agree. Yeah.
Anyways, did the pacing hold up for you?
Yes and no. Right about the time we got off of Asgard, I felt a little okay. It's getting slow. Then it's cool, and then it's getting slow. It's okay, yeah. I didn't really care for the Earth stuff. The people just don't care. The Darcy and all them, they just were not funny in this one.
Oh, really? Because I thought she was a lot funnier in this one.
No, the intern and all that, I didn't find funny.
Oh,
Isn't that funny?
okay.
It's serious. For some reason, I was just, it's not as funny as I want it to be. There's moments where I chuckled, but no, I don't know. It didn't set well.
Yeah.
For some reason. I don't know. She got annoying quick.
Oh, see, I thought the opposite for me personally.
Yeah, sorry guys. She got annoying for me.
For me, it went higher than it did the first movie.
Oh, yeah, no, I kind of liked her in the disbelief and in the weirdness of the first movie. And this one, it's almost like, I don't know, she's too nonchalant, and it come off as not funny and more, it came off, I don't know, ultralistic almost in a way. Like, I don't know, I just wasn't a fan of it.
Yeah.
For some reason, but that's okay. It's cool.
Well, I echo everything you said about the pacing part. Yes and no. It definitely did hold up. I kept my interest the whole time, but yeah, there was that little spot in between the escape and the Malekith scene that was a little it was nice character moment for them. Very good,
It just
very
slowed
good
up.
character moment. But
Yeah.
the pace went then vroom.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
All right. So best character moment though for you.
If I'm not gonna give it to Heimdall doing this cool ass thing, because my God, I love it when he jumps on that thing and just does this thing. It might have to be that, Sam. I might not be able to think of any.
Well,
It's
is that in the what I'm thinking is that in no, that is in this part. Mine, I will say because I had my notes split backwards, guys. I'm sorry.
I know my okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Heimdall is one of my favorite moments. I love how Loki's just chilling there, like reading a book when there's a bunch of chaos going on. Love it. I think that's his one of my favorite because he's just kind of watching, like, what is this nonsense?
Yeah.
I just like that he keeps his stature of, because if you got worried and looked or whatever, you could have done anything in that scene.
Mm-hmm.
But to keep it where Loki has this presence about him where he's kind of a sniveling little weasel, but he's very formidable too at the same time, and that's what I like about him. Because even in that, like when he makes eye contact with the Predator,
Yeah.
I'm calling this guy the Predator, guys. When he makes eye contact with the Predator, it's almost like the Predator's like, yeah, no, not you, buddy. But even Loki's kind of looking at him like, I dare you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's kind of like, oh, you are bad. Like you're gonna make my boss pissed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, no.
Exactly.
You stay here because he's gonna get mad at you.
Exactly what he's thinking.
So, but I do like him when he's just kind of sitting there reading this book and everything's like blowing up and going crazy. I like that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say that my favorite character moment would be Frigga in that fight.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Man, it's nice to see that she's not just a queen, but she actually has something to her.
Yeah.
And her fighting style is so unique that you don't see too many of them actually have. It makes me want to learn a little bit more about where she came from, how she became Odin's wife, what
I agree.
her status really is, type thing.
Good choice. Yeah.
So it really is a great character moment for that scene. So, what is your score for the second act?
This went up a little bit because the action in this part is awesome, and the Heimdall thing, man, I'm telling you, I will watch that. I'm like, that's so awesome. I give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay. I gave it a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
Yeah. I know that's a little high up there, but there. We talked about what didn't work for us, and it really was Odin being a dick.
Pretty much.
For the most part.
Yeah.
So that's the nicest way of saying it, guys. I hope I don't get censored for that. But yeah.
That's just a word.
Yeah. He just acts like a jerk the whole time.
He really is just a curmudgeon.
Yeah.
Like, just a big man-child.
Yeah.
Some of this stuff.
Like, I don't know. Anyways, it was just downgrade for me. All right, so I'll read Act 3, and then we'll get into that part, guys. The final battle across the realms. So during the convergence in Greenwich,
yeah.
Greenwich, London, Malekith attempts to unleash the ether across reality. Thor battles across shifting portals between realms, while Jane uses her scientific knowledge to help disrupt the convergence. Loki appears to sacrifice himself while fighting Malekith. Wait. No.
Yeah, that happened before. Yeah. That's before all this. That's okay.
Yikes. Rewind. All right. Disrupt the convergence. Seemingly dying in the process. Nope, that's still part of that. All right. Thor ultimately defeats Malekith by destroying his ship using clever manipulation of the realm portals. Peace is restored, but Thor declines the throne of Asgard, choosing instead to return to Earth to be with Jane. Meanwhile, Loki is revealed to be alive still, having secretly survived by impersonating Odin and take control of Asgard's throne.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about my notes there, guys. As you could tell, my notes are a little bit off on this episode. I guess I was really quickly doing it. But anyways, the ending land for you.
So the very end lands for me.
Mm-hmm.
The very end. I like that Thor goes to Jane. I like that Loki pretends to be Odin.
Yep.
And Odin kind of is like, yeah, go be yourself. The Thor, the hammer's yours, Thor. And,
yep.
And you're kind of like, oh, wow, Mr. Curmudgeon turned nice. And then he's like, oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to me, I think that's all cool. This end battle though in this courtyard and all that. I mean, it looks cool. It's a lot of fun to watch, and the action in it's fun, and it's got probably one of the 3 top funniest scenes in it for me is in this battle. I just didn't understand the stakes. I don't know why. I've watched this movie twice this last week, and I'm still trying to grasp exactly what Malekith is doing. And as I'm watching him do it, just what so what he's doing and his plan for everything is weird anyway. He just darkness. Okay. Chill. It's like, but like he has this skill, darkness. Okay, cool, whatever. But like when I'm watching him do it and watching what they're doing to try to combat it, I just don't see where's the stop and the what with the what makes the what do what and how you do this with that. You know what I mean? It's as confusing as I just sounded. It's how I felt about this ending, where I'm like, I get it. I mean, you could oversimplify it and make sense. But I like things that are like, look, an army's coming through a portal and they're going to take over the earth and I'm going to rule it. Oh, and there's a nuke coming. Well, he's going to take and fly the nuke in after we destroy the thing all at the same time. And you understand what's going on. You know, Sokovia, we're bringing the land up. We're going to drop it and do this. We got to make sure we do that. And it just, there's a clear cut thing to a lot of these villains' plans. And this one, just for me, was just kind of like, well, it's the magic with the this and the that, and he's making darkness, and he's doing that, and she's gonna do this. And when there's times she does something with the scientific stuff to help disrupt the thing, it's like they combine where they do it, and it's an unpredictable thing happens, but it just so happens they know exactly what to do in the moment. You have to have something happen. I just really was like, what's the mechanics of what's going on in this fight, in this battle, and what's, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so happens that he's able to switch the device just right so the ship that's falling leaves and doesn't fall on them. But earlier they turn it and random things happen and they're like, oh, I didn't see that coming. It's like, what if he turned it and that didn't happen? You know, it's like, it just, for me, it kind of felt very convoluted and confusing to watch. Fun to watch. The special effects are great. There's no real good fight in this. It just gets real dark and like this storm of something happening that I just wasn't understanding like what they're doing. You know what I mean? And I hope I don't sound dumb because I don't know. I don't like the lack of clarity in this final confrontation. I like the confrontation though. I think it's fun, but yet we still don't get anything from this villain. What does he really do in the long run that's really bad? Like, I mean, I don't know. It just said because of the convolutedness and how I wasn't so afraid of the guy, the urgency and all that just wasn't there for me. The stakes didn't feel earned, in my opinion. You know,
I see that.
it's very poorly explained in my, I guess. I hope I'm making sense and don't sound, you know.
Yeah, no, you're fine. No,
God, I don't want to sound like I've never seen this movie because I have. I've seen it, 8 times now, actually, in the long run. And I still, every time, I'm kind of like, this is what's going on. If you were to say, tell me in like 3 sentences exactly what the mechanics of this whole end battle were, it's almost impossible because it's so all over the place, which I guess adds to the chaos, which is fun to watch, but it's like it didn't earn the urgency because I kind of felt like, well, what's mattering here? You know? I don't know.
I get what you're saying. For me, I would say, I agree with the very beginning of what you were saying when it says the ending land for you and what happened with Loki and Odin and the switch and all that stuff. And that bad guy was defeated.
Yeah.
I didn't have that too much of a problem with the ending, but it's the same thing I'm gonna say with my biggest issue with the act is to me, it was anticlimactic. And
Yeah.
so this is my understanding.
Yeah, explain it to me better because maybe I'm just not getting it, and I should, and I just don't
Yeah.
for some reason.
To me, and it might just be me trying to compensate for what I think is actually happening. So maybe I even have some of this wrong, but I actually put on here some of my favorite moment for Act 3 is the human involvement in the end battle, because sometimes for this type of stuff and these type of villains type thing, it's and heroes, sometimes the humans really don't have anything too much to do with it. Look at the first Thor movie. The humans didn't have anything to do with Thor being able to be worthy or not to get the hammer and all that stuff. Just that he sacrificed himself.
I'm with you there. I
Yeah.
do like that at least they're involved.
At least
I
they're
like
involved,
that a
and
lot. Yep.
there is something they could do to be involved in it, and they show that off. So these polls that I think Eric created the
Yeah.
polls. It's how do I explain this?
Mhm.
Because I wanna sound intelligent while I'm saying it too, because it is
Hey, use layman's terms because I'm struggling with it.
Alright.
Use layman's terms. You don't gotta sound intelligent. Make it sound. Pretend I'm 6 years old because I struggle with. Not that I don't get.
Yeah, no.
You're probably saying I understand it,
Yeah.
but it just seems like a mess to me.
Mhm.
You know. But go
It
ahead.
is. No, I would say to that regard, it is a mess. The end battle, how they're figuring out who does what part, and it's all gonna work out for this, that is a mess.
Yeah.
It's too unpredictable, which I would say maybe they did it as sort of this is a risky way of doing it then, and it just so happens, of course, in the movie, it's gonna end up in the good guy's favor. But
There's so many chances for a big deal.
yes.
Like it bugged me. But yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Well, yeah, so the polls are doing this thing where they're being part of the blending between the realms.
Mhm.
So when they're activate them on, whatever is around that area will get zapped into another realm and vice versa. That's why you get some of those crazy creatures to come in there. That big thing that's running at the very end is there, which never gets explained again, by the
Oh
way.
yeah, that thing's just out running around.
Yeah, part of me is like, that's not mentioned anywhere. Like, anyways, whatever. Maybe it's still alive, who knows? But yeah, so from my understanding, I think their whole point of doing that was to I'm the Thor fighting him.
Excuse
One,
me.
I don't understand how he got big. That's a big thing that didn't work for me. How did he get big?
Yeah, I don't.
Like, I get it, he gets dark. He's got the ether in him. He's a dark elf. He's trying to make eternal darkness throughout all 9 realms. I get that part.
Darkness.
But why'd he get big? There's nothing in that, unless this is part of the reality stone where he wanted to be big and rewrite the reality of his molecules to get big. It never explains it though, so we're just left to that
Yeah.
interpretation.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like about it, and that he's too, dare I say, easy to beat as a villain.
Yeah. How did he? How?
That's why it's anticlimactic for me.
How exactly, in your terms? I want to hear from you because we've watched it this week.
Yeah.
How did they beat him?
He got big and Thor punched the living crap out of him.
Yeah.
And
What is going on here?
See, what I don't understand is when they activate those things, all it's supposed to do is teleport them. But it kind of makes it look like he, kind of like what happened in Ant-Man, where they kind of go inside themselves type thing, where he dies. I can't explain how they beat him.
Because ultimately he dies because the ship shows up and falls on him, right?
Is that it?
Remember, he's laying there, he's looking up, and like the ship, and then it falls.
Oh,
on him?
that's right, because it goes through that
Yeah.
thing as it. Oh, that's right. That's right. Sorry, it totally evaded my mind because
Yeah.
that last scene, guys. It's just the last act in general. I'm just like, what the heck is
You know,
going
what are we
on
doing here? Yeah. Yeah.
It just was, to me, it was very anticlimactic. That was the biggest problem. And for me, when I was rewatching this movie, I've watched it 2 or 3 times, like you said. I always get to this last act, and my interest goes down in the movie. And after you see it for the first time, you're like, okay. Then you see it the second time and the third time, you're like, I don't want to watch this.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
the nicest way to say about it. And it's just, um, I've said some of the good things I liked about it, and was the climax earned for me? Uh, if the climax was, yes, they stopped the guy in the last act, that stopped the stop bad guy from spreading eternal night, and that happened, yeah, the climax was earned in that regard, but it's hard to say the climax was earned when I also say it's anticlimactic
Yeah.
in doing so. I That's my problem with the 3rd act, guys. I wish there was some bigger. I'm not saying I want a bigger battle, but I want a smarter
Well,
battle.
when you have a blah villain, you get a blah climax, in
Exactly.
my opinion.
Yeah.
It's like if he would have built up better, then you could have had things to work with at the end, and it would have been you could have
Yeah.
done some of the same stuff, but had actually something happening in the middle of that,
Yeah.
but we didn't. So,
There are parts of this I did like that worked with the humans doing stuff too and actually having a
mhm.
role in it. I agree with all that, but uh, it's just the logic behind how they did it. It just was a little. And guys, maybe I'm sounding a little weird to myself, and please correct Ike and I in the comment section if you're watching this to let us know what your interpretation of the 3rd act was,
Yeah.
because we're having a hard time figuring out what they were trying to accomplish here.
Especially with this movie, guys, because we don't want to give in to the haters of this movie because it's not the wreck that they all say it is,
Mhm.
with especially what comes up later on in the cinematic universe. This is better than some of the more movies of recent.
Yeah, but this act doesn't help us
But this,
defend it.
yeah, this is a problem we have is we can't defend something that when we're watching it, we see, yeah, this is why there's a problem.
Yeah, there's some illogic going on
Yeah, so
there.
I can understand why the haters out there have the hate.
Mhm.
I still don't think it's as bad as you make it sound.
Yeah,
You know, I don't think it falls apart as much as Iron Man 3 falls apart.
yeah, no, I agree.
You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? Like Iron Man
well,
3,
that was a
because,
character.
oh,
This
right.
is a poorly written character, but that was a backwards written.
Yeah. Well, Iron Man 3 is really
Right.
good and then it just crumbles.
Yeah,
This stays really good all the way through,
it does.
but it
Yes,
just crumbles in any kind of sense at the end.
yes,
And then that's what makes it feel unurgent and unearned.
yeah,
And this is a better movie in that sense.
mhm,
I argue that this still is better than the first Thor movie.
yes, yes, I agree.
Even though I don't like this ending at all. Like, I don't know. It's such a weird, yeah. So,
Yeah. Alright, so, for you, w what's your score then?
yeah, I was confused, but it looks good. So I'm going to be fair to it and give it a 5 out of 10.
'Kay. Yeah. I wrote down 7, but I really think because I'm having a hard time even explaining it to you what the ending is, I'm gonna say a 6 out of 10 for me.
I appreciate that
'Cause I
because
definitely
it's hard to come down,
it
and especially
is
when
hard.
you're trying to, you're trying to be nice to this.
Yeah, because like I said, I don't wanna give any of the haters any credit for
Yeah.
or credibility for what they don't like about this movie. Because this movie is better than what people say it is, but I do agree it's not the best it could be.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right. Mid and post credit scenes. There is a mid credit scene of Lady Sif and Volstagg delivering the ether, also known as the Reality Stone, to the Collector, setting up for Guardians of the Galaxy. And then the post credit scene is back on Earth. Jane and Thor reunite, implying that their relationship continues. So, the purpose was to set up the Infinity Stones Guardians movie, and that Loki is still alive.
Mhm.
Oh no, no, that's not Loki is still alive. See, my notes are messed up today, guys. How important is it to the MCU? Infinity Stones, very important.
Yeah, that first
It's the
one for
whole thing.
sure.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
The second one, it's not important because we find out later they're not together.
Yeah. I liked it though.
It was
It was a
good.
good
It was a
moment.
nice
It was a good
moment.
moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with it.
What I kind of like is the behind the scenes about that end credit scene is they wanted to redo the scene, but Natalie Portman at that time was unavailable to do the scene. So they had Thor's actual wife dress up as her
Really?
and walk out and do the kiss.
Oh, that's great. I didn't know that. That's
And
awesome. Yeah.
that was part of me is like, oh, you get to kiss your wife on set for a long time in
As
front of the
Thor.
camera
Yeah.
as Thor.
Yeah,
That's
that's
so
pretty
cool.
badass. Yeah, yeah,
So,
good
I
for
just
him.
love that.
That's a cool little tip. That makes
Yeah.
that even better.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that.
So I like that. I put my so this might sound weird for my hype level, but I put it at like 75%.
Yeah, I
because we
agree.
still at this point didn't know that these were going to amount to the Infinity
Yep.
Stones.
Yep.
So
I'm with you. That's a perfect way because it was enough to show me things as someone that doesn't know who this character is either.
yep.
I'm like, what is this?
Yep.
So, but it wasn't a what is this in a bad way. It
Yeah.
was oh, I can't wait to see what this all means because this is wild.
Yeah.
This pink girl and it's Benicio del Toro. Woo! Great actor. You know what I mean? I can't
Yep.
wait to see. It didn't really amount to much really later, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's too bad because he's a great actor.
Yeah.
You didn't really get a ton of great stuff. You could have had awesome, you know. I mean, his brother, Jeff Goldblum's character, is way cooler. You know what I mean? But like,
I'm waiting for
I
those two,
cannot wait
actually.
till we get to Rad Rock. Anyways,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, but this definitely made me go, as someone that has no idea what this is, go, oh, I'm interested to see where they're going here because they're really expanding this now.
Yeah. All right. So my score for the post-credit scenes are 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
8 out of 10.
All right. Our deep dives, guys. We're going to get into some of our favorite moments and characters and performances of the movie. So, your best performance, you would say?
So I agree with what you put on here. I would have to give it to Tom Hiddleston over Chris Hemsworth, though. I'm going to give, once again, I think Loki steals the show in this movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
I put Chris Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston, but I will say if I had to pick between the two, like who ekes a little bit over, it will be Tom Hiddleston.
Yep.
Because I loved Thor, of course. Like I said, this is my favorite Thor, but I will say that Loki is very consistent. It just it reminds me of what I liked about him in the first Avengers movie, and just in this movie too. So yeah. Most surprising performance.
Heimdall.
Mm.
Humanizing him and making him very relatable was a very big surprise, and Idris showing his acting chops brought that out in an instant. My second was Rene Russo, but I had to go with Heimdall because it's not just because of the epic cool scene. I really love the scene where him and Thor are just sitting there talking, and you kind of get this idea that, oh, there's a friendship there. He's not just a gatekeeper to Asgard. He knows these guys. He knows these people, and it psychs me for what we get later, you know? So in the retrospect, yeah, I'm guilty of that, guys. Knowing what comes later for Heimdall, this means more to me. I love that. And it's surprising to me. It's like, wow, I can relate to this dude. He's probably the weirdest out of all of them, you know, and weirdest looking helmet, weirdest looking eyes. You know what I mean? He's got the worst job, you know, and he's just a cool cat. You know what I mean? Like, I dig him. Yeah. So that's what I have to go with.
I put for my surprise performance as Rene Russo.
Yeah.
Because you really got to see not only her acting chops a little bit more in this one. She's not just that woman just standing there. But yeah, she was just really, really good. So what is your weakest performance?
Weakest performance. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give this to Christopher Eccleston. Not because he's a bad actor. I've seen him do a lot of stuff before. It just, there's nothing there for this character. You know, he couldn't be what he should be. You know, the scary, we need a bad guy. And this is a blank page. So that's my opinion. But once again, this is the same problem, though. It's not the actor. It's the writing.
Exactly.
It seems to be this is a theme that Marvel has of recent, or that I'm noticing as we do our retrospectives. Is like even our weakest performances, there are some later that we go through where it is a bad actor. And I don't like to do that because I'm not an actor myself, so I really feel bad by calling someone a bad actor. But yeah, once again, it's the same theme, though. It's you got a great actor with just a non-part, you know, and I feel bad for him because he's good. I wish he had something to munch on, though, and give us, you know?
Yeah. No, I agree. I put him the same thing. I completely agree with you. He's my weakest performance of the actor. He looks great in the role. He looks great.
Yeah.
And the times where I do see him do the acting part, like when he's walking and that scene and acting like a badass type thing, he looks really well and performs it really well. And the dialogue they give him, he does them really well. I just think he's poorly written as a villain.
Yeah.
And that's
Very
the whole
flat.
problem of the whole thing. Yeah, very flat. Maybe that's the whole thing that a lot of the fans really don't like about it, is that it's just he is a flat villain. He could have been more menacing, and they didn't do that. So yeah. Who's your casting wins or misses?
So casting wins. I think it's casted brilliantly. Still,
Yeah.
I have no problem with any of the cast in Thor, and so I'm not going to have any misses. And why I say this once again, I'm gonna die on this hill that it's not Christopher that messed this role up.
Yeah.
I'm giving this all to. I'm going to give this all to the writers. It's all on you guys. You got a great cast, and this is what you do. Come on.
Yeah.
You know, this cast is fantastic.
Yeah. No,
You
I
know?
agree. I completely agree. I think that is I if I had to write someone in, part of me wanted to write Christopher in, but the thing is he's not a casting miss.
Yeah,
He was a writing miss.
that's right. That's
So,
right.
yeah, there is no misses when it comes to the casting.
If there's any win in this that like claimed their point, yeah, it would be Heimdall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that's just because they gave him more to do. You know, I just wish they put that kind of detail in our villain. You know,
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no,
just a
Heimdall,
couple of good scenes of him
Renee
being good.
Russo really showed her
Oh
acting chops
man,
in that,
yeah,
and even Natalie Portman was better in this one than she was in the
I
first
agree.
one.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree.
Alright, missed opportunities or wasted potential, whether it's the cast, story, or characters.
Yeah, I think we touched on some of this earlier too.
Mhm.
I really think the missed opportunity here was to explore more with the ice giants, though, from the first movie, and that's going to come into like what I would do differently later. I get them. I guess the biggest one though is if we are going to do the Dark Elves, which it's good they did them. I'm glad it's a thing that they wanted to do, but honestly, the missed opportunity for me actually came while we were doing this because I was trying to think what would be a great so I have two missed opportunities. Number one is you could have done 20 more minutes of the fish out of water for Jane and Asgard, would have filled a little more time in,
Yep.
and then you could have not rushed, but made the pacing of the movie feel a little snappier, and there wouldn't have been that dull moment in the middle. Other missed opportunity for me would be when it comes down to the villains, in that sense, where if you got elves that have magic, like why aren't we doing that?
Yeah.
Like when you said
Yes.
that, I'm like, that's got to be something I bring up later in this spot because yeah, well, I didn't know that till you said that tonight, and now that I realize that is a missed opportunity. Holy cow! How
Mhm.
cool would that have been? You could have had a really cool, more fun, climactic scene that made more sense. It wasn't so convoluted if you had the magic stuff going on too at
Yeah.
the same time. I think that'd have been unique.
I think what they did for my this is the only defense I'm gonna give to not doing that because I agree that is my missed opportunity is how they handle the Dark Elves in particular, but Malekith too, just as the main villain, but
Mhm.
them in general is that um that I think they're so early still into the MCU where they don't know how to touch and handle magic. They introduced the idea of magic in Thor 1. But we don't really see him utilize any of that.
Yeah.
And then you get the Thor 2, and you're still in this magic era, but you don't know. We haven't gotten to Doctor Strange yet. We haven't gotten to some of those other mystic arts type stuff. And I think that they just were very hesitant on how do we do this?
Well,
Because technically speaking, this would be if they did them properly and did them that way, this would be the first time magic as an action, not just as a concept that we saw in Thor 1, but as an action would have been introduced.
yeah.
And I don't think they would have known how to do it.
Let's be honest, they still don't know how to handle magic in the MCU.
The uh, yeah, let's be honest. Then when it comes to magic and defining it,
They are struggling for
they
some
are
reason.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
I don't get it
not
either.
hard, honestly, to do, but yeah, they do have a hard time still.
And I think they're having trouble with the supernatural part of it too.
Oh, for sure. Because of
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
It's all intermingled.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it mingles in. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So direction and production, guys. What is your thought on the
Yeah, I can hit these real quick because I'll be honest with you, it's all like basic level, directed well, CGI looks good, the action is there, just like the first movie.
Mhm.
I will say there's an improvement on the music in
Yes.
this movie.
It,
Ever since Avengers, it seems like the music's getting better.
Yeah.
They're getting a little more. Yeah, let's get a more score about it. Let's have a bigger
Yeah.
theme about it.
and it's
When you
becoming
come into Asgard in
yeah.
this one and the music just roars, I'm like, oh, this is getting nice.
Yeah.
It's like now it's not just plain old stuff. It's like we're really getting some sort of feel here. So
yeah, and it's becoming more noticeable too, in the good way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the standout to me. Other than that, everything's pretty much on par.
I'm completely agreeing with
Yeah.
you. All right. Do you have a hot take for this movie?
I do.
Oh, boy.
Do you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead.
And come at me, guys. This is the best iteration that we have had of Thor.
I know why you like it. It's the eyebrows are brown.
It's the eyebrows.
Not the blonde eyebrows. It's the eyebrows. Gotcha.
He's got the right hair. He's got the right look.
I think he's still lacking the human touch of the silliness more. I still think there could be a little more of a human touch to him. I understand why you think that of him. I still think Ragnarok Thor is almost, in my opinion, like my favorite version of him. I don't know if it's the best. I don't think this is the best. I do think his best might be Infinity War. I really like that Thor, but that Thor in Infinity War is very much Ragnarok Thor too. So a little differences, but not by much. You know what I mean? Like the only difference is he destroyed his whole home. You know what I mean? Like, so I see the Infinity War Thor is kind of a sad Thor. You feel real bad for him. You know, like obviously Endgame Thor is sad Thor, sad Thor, but it's more like a living in depression Thor. When Infinity War Thor is like he's like that mix of I'm silly, but this is serious because I just destroyed my home. He was Thanos. We got to do something. But I love Thor and Ragnarok, man. It's like the way about him in that. And
see, the thing about Thor in Love and Thunder is he has the look like similar to this one that is so good, but he's got the over the top silliness personality that to me kind of dampens it.
So your perfect Thor is this Thor mixed with Infinity War Thor.
Yes.
I'd say that'd be your Thor.
Yes, I would agree. I think if I had to just pick one overall, this would be it. But if you add a touch more of the natural humor for him, where he's actually playing up to it more and not just the fish out of the water humor we saw in the first one, or the coincidental humor we see in this one, in Thor 2, Dark World. If you add the more of, I'm going to be a little more funny now.
See, my funniest Thor is Fat Thor. Is depressed Thor at Endgame because he's drunk all the time and the way he acts. To me, that's peak funny for me. Not so much what they did in Love and Thunder. I do like Love and Thunder. Yeah. But I really like that Fat Thor. I just the way he talks, the way he is. He fell asleep. He's like, is he dead? You know what I mean? Like just how he talk. I just like that. And then of course, one of my favorite iterations of him that we get at the end is Viking Thor. It's awesome. Yeah, he's just braided up. He's like, ah! Or Captain America says, let's go. He's like, ah! It's like, dude, it's like, that is, I love that Thor.
He looks like a legit Viking.
Oh, yeah. And he's,
more so in that one. Like, these ones, you could argue he's Viking-ish, God Viking.
Right.
That one, he's full.
He's a nomadic Viking. Like, he's a berserker
to a
right
T
there.
with the whole,
I knew it and he smashes. I can never get over that. But anyway, that kick, man. Oh, anyways.
That is. Poof. And it's quick.
Yeah. It's like,
I knew it.
It's like, oh, he's gone.
Nice.
And we're going to joke about that all the way up to that movie, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. My hot take is this movie is the exact same movie as the first movie. Without the hammer stuff. Think about it. Think about it. The only thing lacking in this movie is the whole, are you worthy of the hammer? That's the only thing lacking. This movie still ends or has Loki in charge, kind of, in Asgard. It's got Thor, arguing with Odin, going behind his back. Arguably, I would say, doesn't Thor do the same thing in this movie that he does in the first movie that gets him kicked out of Asgard by going to do something about something behind Odin's back? They do the same thing.
Well, so no, this is my defense on that. In the first movie, he's using his arrogance to lead the way to start a war that doesn't need to be started. Whereas this one, he's letting his smart tactics lead the way and devising a plan to stop the bad guy from continuing, and mainly not just stop the bad guy, save Jane.
I'm with you. He's right in this one compared to the last one. He was wrong.
Yeah.
Although it's the same story beat. It's him still defying his father and doing something. And like, to me, it's kind of like, we're just doing this again.
The only difference is the father is acting like the child this time.
Couldn't agree
as
more.
Opposed to the opposite.
Oh yeah, no, there's differences, but it's like, it really, when you put it back to back though, you're kind of almost like,
I guess,
oh, this is kind of the same movie. It's just kind of the same movie.
I see.
You see what I'm saying?
I see your points. I just don't agree with that.
I got you.
But
I
yes,
got you. But I do feel like this is the same movie with a worse villain.
Yeah, that's true. The worst villain.
I'm not dying on the hill. it's a hot take.
It is a hot take.
I think if I had time and we were doing a movie fights episode, if we ever want to do that someday, I think when we're done with I'm going to pitch something to Sammy, guys. I'm going to pitch it right now. Someday when we're done doing our multiverse retrospectives, I'd like to do a movie fights thing where we sit here and we are both given a thing that we have to pick one opposite side of the other, and then we need someone to mediate, and we'll do a point by point and see if we win. And that, if I was doing it, I would argue that it's the same movie. I think I could beat you.
Oh boy.
I think we should we'll talk about that, guys.
That sounds like a cool trivia takedown segment.
Yeah, there's a group Screen Junkies did a thing called Movie Fights back in the day, and their whole company kind of fell apart, and for whatever reasons, and I kind of miss watching those because they're a lot of fun, and I think it'd be something that we could have fun doing because we could do whole segments on just Marvel stuff.
Oh yes, all that.
Like who would win? Infinity War Iron Man or Endgame Iron Man in a fight. Like, that'd be a fun argument to have. You know what I mean? Like we just would have to either pick out of a hat or pick whichever one, and then we just had, because what was neat about those movie fights is sometimes you had to argue against what you actually felt. Like you pick it out of the hat and it'd be something you disagree with, but you still got to argue for it, and it's a lot of fun. I think we could have a good time doing that.
That sounds fun. That sounds really fun.
We're just doing it with just MCU stuff. It'd be fun. It'd be hilarious.
We will be doing.
We could have a lot of laughs. We could have a lot of good times with it. I think it'd be a lot of fun. So I'm pitching it to Sam. We'll talk about it. I know we can't call it movie fights because someone else had that already, but we'll come up with something cool.
Well, we already came up. We thought of a segment for doing game stuff like that called Trivia Takedown.
Yeah, this could be part of
this. This could be Trivia Takedown, or we could do different games in that. But that'll be our section. That would be cool.
Especially if we can't choose. We have to write a bunch down and then pick out
a hat, and your guy versus my guy.
Yeah, we just go for it and see how it goes.
Oh,
that'd be a good time.
It'll be fun because depending on who I pick, like randomly out of a hat,
it might not be who you like.
If it's someone I don't like, I'm gonna have to be like, I have to BS my way out of this.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. All right.
Okay. So, all right, quick fire questions. Answer fast. Don't overthink. Best scene of the movie for you?
Best scene in the movie for me is Loki and his mom. Love it. Like I said, for all the reasons I said before, it just sticks out to me. It's great between those two people, and like I said, I really like that when he reaches out, she reaches out, and it's like they have the same kind of thing, and it brought us back to liking Loki again after seeing him be such a mean ass in Avengers, but then you realize he can still be mean, but there's still a being under there that wishes to be loved ultimately in the end, even though he wants to be worshipped. He still has that wanting to be loved feeling, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best scene for me is Thor and Loki's attempt to stop Malekith and trick him. I think that was really G's plan right there, going up against the big baddie like that, and how they would do it. It didn't turn out in their favor at the end, but I think that was really cool.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I understand. That's good.
All right, least favorite scene for you?
Least favorite scene for me is it's definitely the end fight. Specifically the last few moments where Thor's kind of fighting his way into the middle there, and once he just hit him and just I don't it bothers me.
Mine I wrote is the exact same way.
Yeah,
I wrote that too. All right, best villain moment for you though?
I like the interaction between Malekith and Rene Russo, and I like the fight and them talking, like what it's like. That was the only moment of the villain I liked. Was okay, this guy, there's something going on. We're gonna see something, and we still didn't. But it was like a good, like we almost got there, and from what we almost got, I was like, this could be good. This could be really good, and it fails to continue, but that's his best moment. Yeah.
I should have wrote that too because that really is a great moment too. I just liked his entrance in the Asgard
He
Palace.
looks like a badass.
It
Yeah.
just he looked like I'm here to do some
Yeah,
business.
I agree.
Did he? I don't know. But he actually he at least acted the part for
Mhm,
that. Yeah.
mhm.
All right. Most punchable face for you.
Odin. He needs a good old sucker punch. In the moments of him just acting like the old curmudgeon of just arguing with Thor about things and how he's treating Jane, someone needed to just reach over and just give him a little crack. Like, chill out,
Yep.
bro. Like, you're supposed to be the best of us, and you're acting like an idiot. Yeah, Odin. Yeah, sorry, man. As a character, he just needs a good old crack to the dome.
In doing our retrospective, I completely agree with you. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say the same thing, guys. Odin,
Which is funny because I still love him in this, too.
I do like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just that
There's a couple
he
moments.
acts like a child, and so
Yep.
yeah. All right, so one prop you take home.
So I kind of like the Dark Elves masks.
Yeah,
I think one of those hanging on the wall would be kind of cool.
that would be.
I struggled with the prop in this one.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of things to pick from.
Yeah.
Which is funny to say because there's a ton of stuff in this.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say the ether. It's weird. I'd rather have the Infinity Stone set, like the gauntlet. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But that's later, right?
Yeah.
And I don't even know if that'd be the prop from that movie because there's also props in that too. So, yeah, I'm gonna go with the Dark Elves masks they're real freaky looking and they're kind of neat. And I think that'd be kind of a cool thing to have.
That's a really good that's a really good pick. I did have a hard time figuring out what prop in this movie because you're watching the whole movie and all that stuff and you're trying to pick out something that is distinctly for this movie that you can't say it's in any other movie type thing or something that reminds you of this movie and everything.
Yeah.
The two things that I wrote down were one of those black hole sucking devices, the things that
Oh, the bombs.
the bombs.
Yeah,
Like,
that'd be kind of cool.
That'd
Yeah.
be cool to look at.
Yeah.
Or the keychain that they're throwing back and forth, and then Jane finds it in the when they find out this is the spot where they could go back to Earth.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one.
It's a Rubik's Cube keychain.
Yep, that's good. I like that.
My only worry is if you put that on a shelf and you back at it later, am I going to remember that story?
Yeah.
So it's so hard to pick. Part of me also thought I should have wrote this down, but the shoe that Eric is using in the homeless shelter place. There.
Yeah, that would be bad.
It turns out to
Yeah.
be Stan Lee's shoe.
That's right. Yeah.
That
But
would've
even
been
then,
funny,
would
yeah.
you remember it?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
So I think the best one that I would actually remember would be that little black hole sucking device thingamajig, that little bomb thing.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Good pick.
Not the explosion, the implosion ones, the
Yeah.
implosion things. All right. Most underrated moment for you. I had a hard time filling this part out because
Yeah.
but now as we've been talking about this, I think I know what my underrated and overrated moments would be.
My most underrated moment, I think, is the interaction between Loki and Odin. Like we talked earlier, how he's like, you meant to die on a rock. Like that is a great scene, and I don't know if it gets talked enough about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good underrated moment. I would say for myself too would be the scene of Loki and his mom and Frigga.
Yeah, it's a great scene.
I think that it's underrated because it reminds you of when she says, "Am I not your mother?" and he says no, but really he wants to say yes, but he says no in the moment because logically speaking in his brain, she really isn't the biological mother,
Yeah.
but she is the one person that he still has a connection.
And he's mad, he's not happy with where he is, and
Yeah.
so yeah.
She's the one who's willing to do stuff for him while he's still making him comfortable. So I think that's a little underrated for Loki's character.
I agree. Yeah.
Overrated moment.
Anything to do with the intern.
Mm.
I don't find that stuff funny at all. Yeah, it didn't land with me. I know it did with you, but it didn't with me.
Yeah, I get it. Well, overrated moment for me, you're probably going to hate you for this internet and maybe my brother.
Oh no.
Loki's death scene.
Get out of here. That's it. We're done. Guys, the multiverse has collapsed. There's been a convergence. Cyclops is going to bust through the wall and just destroy everybody. Jeez.
Don't get me wrong. It is a good scene between them together, but it's overrated in that we know what happens later. He's not dead. It's all just for show, and they even poke fun of it in Ragnarok.
But if you're watching it for the first time...
For the first time, it's not overrated.
Yeah.
Just like what I said about in the Avengers one. For the first time watching that circle thing, that's not bad. For the retrospective review, it's overrated.
Come on. Come on.
That's what happens when you put the same song on repeat over and over.
See, because I'm gonna jump just to tell you that's my most emotional moment. Is underrated, as overrated as you think it is, that when he says I didn't do it for him, come on. Do you think he meant that? He did. I think Loki means it whenever he says it. I think he means it. I just don't think, like Thor says in Ragnarok, it's just your nature to not do it. And I think I think Loki means these things, but it's in his nature to not stick with it. So when he's laying there dying, he wants Thor to think he's dying, right? But I think it is something he wanted Thor to think of. I didn't do it for Odin. I didn't do it for him. I did this for you. Like, he wants that.
Yeah, he wants him to think it, but I don't know if it...
I think he feels it. No, I think he feels it. I think that's what's unique about Loki. Why I say that is because I know this is going to be crazy to say coming from me, but when I watch those scenes in the Loki show, I know, I'm a bitch about the shows all the time, but when I watch those scenes in the Loki show when he's talking with, what's his Owen Wilson? Yeah, wow, when he's talking with Owen Wilson. Oh, wow, yeah, Loki, yeah, wow. When he's talking to him, he calls him out on those things in those moments in his life.
Yeah.
He says, you have always been, in your own way, his best tricks are the most honest things he's done. And that's, to me, that's speaks to that the most. So when I see that, it almost retrospectively means more knowing that than it does not, for me at least. Because I'm like, he says that to Thor. He means he wants Thor to be his big brother. He wants that. He wants that so bad, but he just doesn't feel it because he's not for real that. And it's not in his nature to do that, which is why he's the way he is. And it's why they keep, like Thor says in Ragnarok, we're going to just keep doing this back and forth like always. It doesn't matter. You know what? I'm going to love you for it no matter what. And it's also Loki coming to terms with that as well. I think he means it. I really do. And if he doesn't mean it, even if he doesn't mean it, it meant a lot to Thor. And we care more about what Thor thinks in the long run.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, that's why it's the most emotional. Definitely not the most overrated. I don't know what the hell this guy's talking about. But I'll let him have it. You can have it. I get it. I got you.
I'm going to keep mine the way it is.
I got you.
But I appreciate you explaining that to me because it is a different side of Loki.
Yeah, it's a perspective.
To get into the mental part of how Loki thinks and how he's...
Because he's complicated.
He is complicated. He's complicated. He's definitely one of those character studies that you'd have to do.
For sure.
And Tom Hiddleston nails it perfectly. And, and the writing for him, no matter who's doing him, is really good. So
Okay.
But... Okay, guys.
Gives me the jitters.
Funniest...
Wow. Wow. I almost got it down.
Almost. You're so good at it. A funniest moment for you.
I got two.
Okay.
I laughed out loud twice. And one was actually in the end scene when they're fighting. But there's a scene where he's in the subway. There's how do I get to Greenwich Village from here? And there's the next stop. And he just gets on and waits. And I'm like, that's hilarious.
That is funny.
It doesn't really amount to much, but it is funny. I laughed out loud. The other one is when during their planning of escaping Asgard, they get into the ship and Thor doesn't know how to turn the stuff on.
Yes.
And he's just like, yeah, this and that. And he's like, you don't know what the hell you're doing. I laughed out loud because that was like this is a fun movie here. I really enjoy this.
I love that. I love when, if I remember right, Loki says, I thought you said you knew how to fly a ship. And he said, I I said, how hard can it be?
Yeah, and he's just like,
he's like, maybe not that one. I'm pressing all the buttons.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
That's perfect. That's great. Thor.
Anytime Thor is like just out of his element, it's funny. Especially when he's trying to do something serious.
Yeah, he plays it so well.
Yeah, he does a really good job.
Yeah. Oh, geez. Yeah. So, funniest moments for me, I would say, is most of Loki's commentary.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Especially during that second act when he impersonates Steve Rogers to be like,
so
someone
good.
more comfortable. And then when he turns Thor into Lady Sif as they're walking, and he's like, well, looking so good, brother. And I think Thor says, doesn't matter what, I'll take delight no matter what form I'm in to kill you. And something like that.
It's funny, we never did bring up the Steve Rogers, technically a cameo in a way. He came to do that, right? Like, I love that because it's like, it's so out of the left field.
I'll have to see how they got him to do that, because if I remember right, and this is just my recollection, please go in the comments below and tell me if I'm right or wrong. I think he just stopped by on set one day and they said, why don't you throw in the costume? We have an idea. And they did it.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a pre-planned as in like they wrote it into the script. I think this was let's throw you in there. Great Easter egg. I think that's what happened. But anyway.
Oh, guys, and don't sleep on Chris Evans being silly. Like they've always kind of alluded to the behind the scenes, the goofball of them all.
Yeah.
And they all point to him. It's because Robert is silly outward. Like you'd think it would be him, but Chris Evans is one silly dude. I mean, when you see him acting that way in that scene, or then how we see him act in Deadpool Wolverine, he's a one funny guy. Like I wish he'd do a role someday that just really opens that up. Like, he really hasn't done that yet, and I'd love to see him just kind of spread his wings and just be a wacky, like some wacky character would be cool. So.
He gets close a lot of the time.
He does, yeah. Like he really does, yeah. And especially in some of this stuff, like in that moment was like, oh, it's funny. He's hilarious.
Yeah. All right. So, I also wrote down here, I wrote one of the scenes that I don't really, jive with that, when Darcy gets caught kissing the intern and it's the other way around that traditionally is.
No,
she's holding him, and then she drops him, and it's still within that same scene. Jane says Darcy, and then they're all saying their name, and then Mjolnir flies by and she yells Mew Mew.
Yeah.
Like,
it is pretty funny. Yeah.
Darcy is hilarious. Anyways,
some of the best Hammer stuff in this too. I like how the Hammer's just confused. Like, what the hell?
I wrote that down too when Thor hangs up Mjolnir in the apartment.
Yeah.
Like, this is this thing that you can't pick up, but he puts on the coat hanger. And that was improvised. They were just doing that.
He just set it down.
And he hung it where you put your coat.
And the best part is when he called it, ripped the thing right off the wall. Like,
so good.
But I do like how Mew leaves Earth to go find him when he's through the realm, and then when he's back, it's like, oh, okay, it's coming. It's like it's all. The attention to detail on the Hammer stuff was really cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I love the Hammer stuff. It's so cool.
Then we get the Ragnarok. We get Hammer Vision. Like, what? When the camera's on the hammer and it's flying around. My God.
Yeah.
Didn't think we ever needed that until we saw it.
The only time I don't like the Hammer stuff is when they're trying to make it too funny in Love and Thunder. When they're making it more like their own character. Like, don't be mad. He came.
I can't wait to get there because that's the least of the things that bother me in that movie.
Oh, because I can see where that's the fans' gripes on the pushing the funny too much. I expected it, guys, and you should have too because you asked for it. But that's why for me, I like the.
That'll be an interesting one when we talk about it because
it's going to be an interesting retrospective because I don't hate that movie at all.
Right? Yeah.
But
we're gonna have different views on what we didn't like about it, and probably get to the same point again if we do that often. Yeah.
All right. So, most emotional moment for you?
Yeah, I already told you. It's Loki's death. Yeah, you can take it.
All right.
Whatever.
Most emotional moment for me was Thor and Loki talking on the ship while Jane is unconscious, where Thor says to him, I loved you like my brother. You were my brother. You are my brother. The things like that. Yeah. You can see like the tears welling up in his eyes to be like, we were something and you broke it. That to me was really emotionally like a heartbeat right there. It'd be like, oh, wow. This like Loki, really, you did something really bad. Like, you broke a bond that you shouldn't have broken.
That's why he told him later. I didn't do it for Odin. I did it for you.
This is playing. Anyways.
Yeah.
um, let's see. Final scores. All right, this is our multiverse meter, guys. Out of 2, what would you give the story?
Give the story 1.
Yep, I agree. There's only one thing on here during the midst of this live retrospective that we did that I made a little change, but that's a definitely one for me.
Mm-hmm.
Characters for you.
Characters, I give it also a 1.
Mhm. Yep, same as me. Action and visuals.
1.5.
I go at 2 for
Yeah.
that.
I give it a notch down a tad because of the confusion of the last act.
I can
It
see
all
that.
looked good, but I just wish I had context and maybe like it more.
That's the only defense I'll give is that I don't like what they did, but
It did look
from a
good.
visual perspective, CGI spot, it did look good.
Yeah.
Emotion and stakes.
Yeah, maybe a 0.5, 1 maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah, 0.5 I'm going to stick with because like I said, at some point it felt what is really at stake here because it doesn't quite understand
Yeah.
the depth of what was happening because it just didn't really, it was very convoluted.
Yeah. I gave it a 1 for emotion and stakes. Rewatchability and MCU impact.
MCU Impact, I got to take into account. I'm going to give it a solid 1.
Mhm.
It's not very rewatchable though, unfortunately. It is. I did not hate watching this again. I will watch it again someday, but it's definitely not a comfort go-to Marvel movie.
You know, that's one thing I will say about that too, because I originally was gonna give this a 2 out of 2, but yes, one of the things I love about us doing this retrospectives is we don't just watch this movie one time
Yeah.
within a week of doing each episode. We watch it at least 2, maybe 3 times, depending on how often we need to catch stuff or when we're in the midst of doing our busy day stuff. This movie was great the first time around for me watching it. The second time, I did enjoy it, just trying to catch the little stuff, but there are certain scenes that I thought I don't need to revisit that.
Mm-hmm.
And by my third watch of this, I didn't want to see the third act at all.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I was like, it wasn't that it was so anticlimactic for me. I felt like I'd have to force myself watching that part. And so that's where I like that we're doing our retrospectives because that's really the rewatchability factor of that stuff. Some of these movies that we've already done, like Avengers, I could rewatch over and over again, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't get bored of it or feel like I can't watch it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course, everyone needs to take things in moderation, take a break, but for the purposes of our show, we do need to watch these like 2 or 3 times, and that's why when we got to Incredible Hulk, I struggled so bad with the second watch.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what really helps me for this part of it. So I'm gonna say for the rewatchability, it definitely is not non-existent for me to do that stuff. But the MCU impact, you would not be able to get what you got in Endgame if you didn't do this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the strong suits that Marvel has been able to have, is even the movies that are I won't say crappy, but they're weaker movies, weaker perceived by fans or weaker in storytelling and things like that. They are able to, in future films, reference back to it enough where you needed to have that in
Mm-hmm.
order to have the other. So that's why, as much as I don't like the Mandarin twist in Iron Man 3, they needed to have something that you could reference back at when you did do the Mandarin justice
Yep.
that made you feel better about it. And same thing with this movie here. For the fans that didn't like Thor the Dark World, if you didn't have the events of how this transpired in here, you wouldn't have gotten some of the great Thor and Rocket scenes from Endgame of going
Yeah.
back there and
I
getting
agree.
it and
I agree.
him seeing his mom again. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And getting Mjolnir again.
I do feel like they're too hard on this one.
Mhm. Yeah.
But this has been widely considered as one of the worst MCU movies.
Mhm.
I think that's a far stretch.
Yeah. No,
I'm
they
not
not
saying
watched
it's
the whole
one of the
thing.
best either though, but it's definitely not one of the worst.
Yeah.
So,
All right. So I'm giving it a 1 out of 2 anyways, that long spiel. All right. My final score I'm gonna give this film is a 7 out of 10.
mm,
And that might be a little generous, but the only 2 things that stuck out at me that were the biggest 2 complaints I would give of the whole movie in general is the weak villain part and the end battle need to have been done differently.
yeah.
What's yours?
I give it a 5.5.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not as bad as people make it sound, but it definitely didn't reach what I honestly, guys, when I went to watch this, I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch this and I'm gonna be like, yes, this is why I love this movie, and it didn't happen. So sorry. It's not that I don't love the movie. Like I said, guys, we're talking about the best of the stuff of superhero movies ever made. So like this, none of these are bad movies yet.
Yeah.
We haven't hit a movie yet that's not worth watching.
Yeah.
We will at some point in time, but not yet. These are all great, must see. If you love superhero movies, watch these movies. But this way, it just didn't blow my socks off like I was really hoping it would again, and it just didn't.
So the official Goodell Multiverse score, then taking our two averages together, is a 6 out of 10 for Thor: The Dark World. Does that sound about appropriate?
Yeah, it sounds pretty good, especially if you think we are Captain America. The first Avenger was a 7 out of 10. So I think that lines up, in my opinion, because I'd say that's a better movie than this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not by much, because it also falls apart a little bit. So
Yeah.
they're very similar movies if you think about it.
Yeah.
In some ways, of just in like good beginnings to a weird end, right? I think that's kind of how I feel about it. So,
all right. So now, guys, we're getting to our final verdict, our closing of this retrospective. What is like your one sentence final review?
yeah, way better than you thought it was, but still not as good as I want it to be. Must watch it though. Good Thor movie. I like to keep my stuff nice, right to the point. Sammy can be the linguist over here.
I'm having conflicting views of what I wrote down.
Let me take a look before you say anything.
I feel like I gave it too much praise.
I mean, that's a big word.
That is a big word. All right.
I would just replace that word. I wouldn't say that. But you know what? I don't know, Sam. If you feel that way about it, I think you should stick to what you got. If down in the, just let your gut go with it. If you think it's worth claiming it, because once again, like we've made disclaimer 100%. These aren't bad movies. Like we are nitpicking good movies, right? Like in the realm of superhero movies, we never got these kinds of movies. So if you want to give it its flowers that way, that's cool. I just don't think it's that kind of good.
Okay. This is what I'm going to say. I'm just replacing one word on here. It's probably not the word you're thinking I'm replacing.
Probably not.
This is a misplaced masterpiece. And the reason why I say it is it has the potential of being one of the best Thor films, but if it wasn't for the poor writing of the villain and for that end battle, it's misplaced.
I can dig, because if the villain was better, that battle would be better.
Yes.
Because there'd be more stakes.
Yes.
And this movie would be a hell of a lot better.
It would be at that point, that masterpiece place. But
yeah.
So I had to keep, part of me had to keep the word masterpiece in my final review for it, just because there's so much negative hate towards this movie that I feel like is a little more uncalled for than it's supposed to be. But there are valid things in this movie that should make you say, wait a minute, this doesn't make sense. Or this isn't strong enough to be worthy enough for that. So a misplaced masterpiece is what I'll say.
I like it.
Okay. Pitch your version. What would you have done differently?
Yeah, I think I would have not gone with the Dark Elves as a villain. Truthfully, I'm not so sure what I would have done, to be honest with you, because I don't know all of Thor's repertoire. But why not use people from somewhere in the Nine Realms would be nice, for one. And for two, I kind of wouldn't have minded if we went back to the Ice Giants, and it would have made my hot take make even more sense. It's the same as the first movie. But it would have been okay, though, to kind of let them do something in retaliation of what happened then. I wouldn't mind that, to be honest with you. Yeah, I don't have much more than that, because anything I could think of I would want to do with Thor is so big that it'd have to be later, I would like to see a Beta Ray Bill situation eventually, but I don't think it would have been appropriate for Thor 2. So,
Yeah, I do wanna see
That's
bigger
where
reveal.
my mind goes
I wanna
automatically.
see the oh, I'm gonna butcher his name. He's big in Norse mythology, but he's even really big in the Marvel Comics version of Thor too. The serpent. I forgot his name. Something with a J. It's something
Mm,
I'm what is the
yeah, I
serpent?
can't think of the name of it either. I think I know what you're talking about,
It's so
though.
cool, but
You know, that'd have been kinda cool. Yeah, something along those lines, maybe.
Jormungandr.
Yeah,
The Midgar serpent is what he's most
I would have never guessed the name of
yeah.
that.
The thing I so let me get to what I'll pitch my version for you that I or the thing I would have done differently, I should say. And then I'll tell you about this Midgar serpent thing that I had an idea for. And that's part of my mirror dimension, guys. So I would have kept the dark elves personally. I just would have written them better.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
would have written them more darker, honestly. The dark elves, I would have add the magic part of
Yeah.
that in there. I would have made that's one of my problems with Malekith is that there are times where he's supposed to be really, really bad, but then that doesn't show it. And
Mm,
then there are times it's wonky. It's like you're supposed to take him as a serious threat, and then you
just doesn't
easily can
happen.
see you
Yeah.
don't need to take him as a serious threat. I would have made him be more consistently written throughout the whole thing,
Mhm.
where if he starts off as this bad dude, that it just so happens they were able I would have done it something where when Odin retells a story, is that his grandfather didn't just win a battle, he survived the battle of
Mm,
Malekith, and it just so happens to have take whatever they did back then kind of imprisoned or comatose or put the dark elves to rest type thing. Maybe even something as that's one of the 9 realms that is a do not enter realm type thing.
mhm.
And then Malekith and the dark elves break free from that to find the ether. Something along those lines. I would have done something a little bit different would to make the stakes higher and make the threat feel more real. Because the thing about this movie is that the whole point of Malekith getting the ether is to put all the 9 realms in eternal darkness. Wouldn't you think that all the 9 realms then are gonna go against and fight him too? That's another aspect of this movie we didn't talk about.
Mm,
In the beginning of the movie, when you see Thor, he's in one of the other realms fighting off some of the upheaval that they're having. But these other realms still exist with their own people and their own, um armies and things like that, and they never get brought up or mentioned in this whole thing of I would have done something where each realm had someone that like a council
mhm.
around Odin saying, "This guy is here, and he wants to put us all in darkness. What are you gonna do about it, All Father?" And he'd be like, still the arrogant guy he was, be like, "I'll handle it to the last blood," or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
I would have done something where it upped the stakes a little more, where it
Mhm.
felt like, okay, this guy needs to be stopped
Yeah.
because you have the pieces there to do it, but the story's not constructed well enough to make you feel that way.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I would have kept the Dark Elves, even kept it the Dark World as the title. I just would have made the stakes a little bit more, make them a little more menacing.
Would have made a better movie, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause that's their biggest lacking problem is this villain thing, and that at least would have given it some do something, it's like, but yeah, I like that. I would have liked that. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's real
Yeah,
good.
and what I was gonna say about the Midgar Serpent, guys,
Oh,
not
yeah,
to leave
yeah.
it hanging about that. The Midgar Serpent, if you look him up, he it's predicted once Ragnarok happens that the Midgar Serpent destroys the realms.
Mm,
So, as much as we're gonna get to a retrospective of Love and Thunder, of course, and as much as I do like what happened in Love and Thunder, I feel like the proper sequel to A Love and Thunder would have been the whole thing of Ragnarok actually was to start Ragnarok. That's what we find out in the movie.
yeah,
It's not to prevent it, it's for us to start it. And they did it. I would have liked to see the repercussions of doing that.
yeah,
With Thor now fighting the Midgard serpent that's devouring the 9 realms.
yeah.
That would have been a little more of an epic
Oh, that'd be
showdown.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. this big snake serpent thing that you easily could have done, and maybe it could telepathically talk to you type thing and be like, oh, and Thor has to fight it and all that stuff. And in the midst of doing that, this is where it comes to some of my things I talked about earlier, guys. You find out there's a 10th realm. Oh my. Thor has another sister. Oh my. That's Odin's illegitimate daughter. Oh my.
Yeah, another one. Yeah.
Another one, because that's what he does.
Yeah, because he needs a punch to the face.
Yes, he needs a punch in the face.
Yeah, I mean, that would look great in that video game, too.
That would.
Of Thor.
That would.
Open world. Come on, guys, get on that.
Yeah.
Whoever's sleeping on that needs to get... What? An open game of... That would be so awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, I'm so in for that. Oof.
All right, well, thank you guys for tuning into this episode of the Goodell Multiverse. Ike, why don't you close us out? What's going to be happening next?
All right, guys. So next week, believe it or not, we're actually going to be doing our branch point breakdown. Is going to be of Punisher One Last Kill review. So I'm excited for that because I honestly forgot all about that. I didn't forget that was coming. I forgot it was that soon. I thought we had a week in between, but that's not till after this. So I'm excited for that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And, then after that, our main event next week is going to be our retrospective of Captain America, Winter Soldier.
Oh.
Arguably, to some, one of the best Marvel movies or superhero movies ever made. I've heard lots of people online say it's the best one ever made. I don't know if I agree with that, but I would definitely say it's good. So
I will tell you one thing about that, and to give a little preview of what you're going to see of me in the next episode. This Captain America: The Winter Soldier, I saw 7 times in the theaters.
Oh boy!
I counted every one of them. 7 times I saw this movie. So I did not get bored.
So I promise you, folks, I will bring the fight to him.
Because
you know what?
It.
I'll look for the stuff that's wrong. I'll find what's wrong. We'll have a good time.
Oh, I already know one thing that's wrong about the movie, too. But I still love it.
Oh, yeah. I'll pick it apart, though. I'll nitpick the crap out of it just so you can watch him get revved up. But, yeah, no, it's going to be a tough one to pick apart, though, because I've always had fond memories of it, too. So,
yeah.
You know, but I do have bigger issues with it. So I think we'll have a good time figuring that out and see where it goes.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to be looking forward. As I'm going to be editing this episode, I'm already going to be watching it. It's going to be so good. All right. Thanks, guys, for tuning into this episode. If you're just watching this as a segment on YouTube, we have a full audio podcast and also a full video podcast coming to you soon. Please like and subscribe to our social media and share it with a friend, share it with an enemy. We want to be shared all over the place. Thank you so much for tuning into this. I hope you like our retrospectives, and we can't wait to see you at the movies.